Today on the Miniature Models Podcast, we're discussing the new Lionel 2024 Volume 1 catalog. We have some amazing guests and even more amazing products to discuss. All this and more, so get your ticket from the station, grab a seat, and make sure you don't miss the train. Board! Good evening, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to episode 70 of the Miniature Models Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Schwartz, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Matt R. and Matt Z. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm excited for this one. Always a good time to talk about the catalog and got a lot of great guests to talk about it with.
Yep, doing awesome, John. And yeah, like Matt said, we have a full boat tonight. So this is going to be awesome.
That's fantastic, guys. And we're not alone tonight either, because even though our wonderful friend Johnny cannot be here this evening, we have a guest host filling in for him. Sid from Sid's Trainz, an old friend of the show. Sid, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good this evening. I'm excited to talk with all of you about the catalog, and this is my first time ever being on a catalog show, so I'm really excited, as this is a very good catalog, and I'm excited to talk with all the Lionel folks about it as well.
All right, fantastic. And we have some very special guests joining us this evening. We have got Ryan, Meghan, and Cori from Lionel. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. How we doing tonight, folks?
It's great to be back, and looking forward to talking to everybody and getting your feedback on the catalog and answering some questions and helping to sell some trains.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
I agree with Ryan and Meghan. Really happy to be here and excited to talk about the product.
We are so happy to have you folks with us here tonight. And to help us out as well, we've got some of our friends, some more old friends from the podcast, Eric from Eric's Trainz and Peachy from Peachy's Trainz. Guys, thank you also for being here. How we doing?
Doing great. Really excited to delve into the new catalog. Thanks for having me on, and should be a fun night.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Really excited to be here, be back on the podcast, and this is my first catalog show as well, so very, very excited.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we have got a great show lined up for you guys tonight. And without further ado, let's get into this beautiful catalog. A gorgeous cover we got there with the Polar Express Burke, no surprise there. And starting right off, we've got the already announced but very much anticipated Erie Triplex. Let's hear a little bit about this. What do we got?
Yeah, we had a great turnout already on these. Of course, we announced these a few months back in October, and we've taken orders. We've actually already sent our order into the factory. So I know a few dealers have picked up a few extras. If you're on the fence about these, or if you're just seeing them for the first time, make sure you get your calls into your favorite dealer and get one picked up. Please feel free to go back and look at some of Lionel's earlier podcasts and videos and so forth on these great locomotives. There's a whole lot of new features in here, including a really great wheel slip feature, and I don't want anybody to miss out. Because we announced and started early orders on these and the ginormous superset early, we expect to have these in your hands earlier this year as well. Current ship date for the locomotives from the factory is the beginning of July, so I expect that you'll all have these in your hands probably about the time the kids are going back to school.
It's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to see how they're going to turn out. Is this going to be a trend for later Vision Line releases where you're going to have like it pre-announced, or is this just a one-time thing?
It seems to be a good trend. We've announced early for the past several years, but we hadn't taken the orders early. Typically, we've been, I think, since the GG1, if not the last round of big boys before last year's, we started showing those off in October to start building the buzz. But this year, we were far enough along in the project that we had pricing, we had the factory ready to go, everything was kind of ready, and we said, well, why don't we just go ahead and put them up for sale and get things started and help balance the production schedule that much more for the upcoming year. So that seemed to do quite well, and it's a good trend, and so I think we'll probably continue that down the road. There may be some more off catalog announcements coming. We're always working well ahead, so it gives you a reason to stay in touch with Lionel more than twice a year, and maybe hopefully make some of these catalog shows less than 2.5, 3 hours long.
Sweet.
I have I want to just kind of ask a question and sort of just maybe get some insight into maybe some of the design behind these models. This is the creme de la creme of Lionel products. This is the Vision line. And it's a triplex, and it has all these new features, including the wheel slip, which is very very mechanical and it's very in depth. It doesn't just happen, you know. I'm very interested in engineering and design, and so how long does it take to like pre announcement to develop a model like this? Obviously, there's been triplexes produced by other companies before, but I think some people kind of overlook how long it takes and what it really takes in general to produce a model like this. What does it take to get this model into production and to the point where you can announce it?
It typically takes between 1 to 2 years on a Vision engine prior to you seeing it. The discussions around this one started very shortly after we acquired the tooling from MTH, and that's been a few years now. We knew we had this feature, and the feature for the wheel slip actually was in our heads a while longer than that, and we had some other locomotives in mind. But then, with this acquisition, this seemed like a logical choice because the mechanics of it were going to work well for us, but the locomotives themselves also had a little bit of a history of wheel slippage in there. So it was the perfect pairing of a feature with some new tooling. And then from that point, it was taking what we had and completely redesigning it, because even though we did start off with some tooling that we purchased from MTH, we still invested quite a chunk of money in this to rebuild it and make it work the way we would want it to build to function, with not only the wheel slip but the extra smoke features and our legacy control and everything else, plus a whole lot of new detail variations on here that the original MTH tooling didn't provide. So that was another year or so of phase, and now at this point we've got some samples we've been testing. I was just in the engineering department earlier today looking at some of the new code that they're trying out on the wheel slip to get it to function in different ways. You'll be able to trigger it with the train brake and the momentum key, but you'll also, as the fuel gets down to about a quarter full, it will be able to slip in motion without disrupting the trains. You'll be able to be rolling along and hit the boost button, and the wheels will start to slip underneath the tender. So it's pretty cool. They're making a lot of great progress with it. We're certainly not 100% final yet, but definitely heading in the right direction and in great shape for these to deliver on time and an earlier pace this year than people are used to. You know, with some of the recent engines, like from the GSs and on back, it was a real scramble at the end of the year to try and get the Vision locomotives to deliver in December. And so we know these are the highlight and the big money spend for a lot of people all year. So anything we can do to try and get them in your hands a little bit earlier is always a good idea.
I just thought that would be cool to just touch on, because as someone who's into design and is acquiring background on engineering, it's easy for someone who's maybe not so knowledgeable to overlook how much this really takes to produce. And you always hear people asking maybe, can you make this model, or can you make this, or could you do this feature? And you know, the sky is the limit, but I always like looking at what it really takes to produce a model. And I think in general, most people would find it very interesting, and anyone who listens to this will definitely get now will have a better understanding of what it really takes. Because, like you said, it took several years just to get this to the point where it is now, and you're still developing it down to the last minute when you put in your final information for the factory, and then they produce the model. So, very good insight.
All right, so moving along through the catalog now, we are on to the big talk of this catalog, the Berkshires, or the Sid. How do we say it properly? Berkshire. What was the correct
No,
terminology we're supposed
Berkshire
to
was
use?
correct.
Berkshire.
I've said Berkshire my whole life, but it's Berkshire. I've been corrected by a few people.
Oh
But
yes.
yes.
I just take the
Berkshire.
safe route. I just call them Burks.
There you go.
Yeah, me
There you go.
too.
Oh,
Me
there you
too.
go.
You can
See,
tell me I
that's
pronounced it wrong.
a smart way to do it. All right. Yes, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about these. Even the I don't know if you saw the Lionel guys, the Nickel Plate Historical Society was even touting how wonderful these new offerings were today on Instagram. So these are definitely getting some attention. You're offering some really cool stuff this time around.
Well, that's awesome. That's great to hear. And yeah, the Burks are always a good seller for us and a favorite. And I don't think this was any huge surprise in the catalog. We've been hinting for a little while now that it was going to be the Polar 20th anniversary, and it's pretty obvious what that means in terms of some of our product choices. So I don't think anybody was too shocked to see Burks this time around, but we did try and mix it up a little bit. We've got a few road names and detail configurations in here we haven't done before. We've got the nickel plate in the fantasy scheme, which we did so well with the CNO Chessie inspired Greenbrier a year or so ago that I wanted to offer something similar to that for the nickel plate with the blue and the the polished steel look, and I think that one turned out really sharp. And then, of course, we've also got a DTNI in there in the catalog for the first time, and we haven't run the CNO front end on a Burke in a while, so we're doing the 2765, which was the 765 in the New River Gorge trips, as it looked there, where they changed the front end around a little bit, and that's really the most accurate way we could do it in the catalog, because the other CNO Connaughs had different sand dome arrangements and things like that. Or they were the ex PM Burks and they didn't get the drop headlight and everything else. So wanted to use that tooling a little bit and offer something different. And this was a cool way to come about that. You can see there the CNO and the DT&I look a little different than the catalog. We pulled those from the drawings. The other images were taken from some past catalog art where we had a starting point on that. So we're always working right up to the last minute on catalog to get as much right as we can. There are some people I know have asked about the pilot details on the nickel plate versions, and they will have the correct nickel plate flatter front pilot there. They will also all have the Mars lights installed on these too. So if you want to, we've done them in the past without the Mars lights. 765, I think as of right now, has hers on it. They've been on and off of all of them over the years. This time we thought we'd run them with, since last time I'm pretty sure we ran them without. Just trying to keep things, fresh and interesting, something different from each run to make them unique.
Absolutely. You knocked out a question right there. That
Yeah.
was definitely one of the ones that came up, was that pilot detail. Can I say personally, one thing I love, and not just about the Burks, but one thing that you guys have been doing that shows your diligence with these models is that you're taking ideas like the CNO, the nickel plate as the CNO. You're doing it with the Virginian as well, and a lot of other your fantasy schemes. You're working them into this this concept of like the what ifs, and obviously that was a real piece that existed, but like with the triplex, doing a one number above the regular Virginian number as a what if, and back like with the RF&P Pacific you guys are doing as a fictional class member, like all that kind of stuff. That amount of research is really appreciated by people like me, and I'm sure I'm echoing sentiments from other fellow collectors here that we really appreciate when you guys go to these kinds of lengths to make sure a model is accurate to what you have, because I mean obviously you can't change a gigantic heavy die-cast tooling for one style of locomotive. So it's definitely appreciated when you guys make things like that really make sense and are a really good representation of what you're trying to do. So it's very cool to see.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It varies a little bit from engine to engine, but typically for our fantasy schemes, we do try and keep at least, if not 1 foot in the door of reality, at least a big toe still in that pond. And, it has to at least feel plausible, right? And I think that's where it works. And then things like the triplex, where yes, the Virginian was the only other railroad to have one, but it was a very different looking machine. And I know MTH did it with the Virginian number multiple times. We thought because they were so far enough different, this one wasn't really fooling anybody, and so a more likely approach was that this was a second one that they ordered, to more along Erie specs. And we've done that a few times. The F-19 was a great example there, where the RF&P had bought some C&O Pacifics used, and they had some similar looking Pacifics to the F-19, but not really an F-19. And so we sort of, fudged the number a little bit, but gave you a good looking RF&P Pacific, because they were some beautiful steam locomotives that was in line with the tooling we had and not pretending to be something it wasn't.
Yes, indeed, and that's the way to do it. I love it. Guys, how we feeling about these Burks? I mean, I'm already seeing the fantasy one being nicknamed the Bluebird by a bunch of our fellow collectors here. What do you guys think about these?
I love these. I'm going to get the 777 because that just looks so cool. I did have a question on it that someone asked me, and that is, the last time the 765 that I have has a interchangeable headlight where you've got the single light and then the dual light configuration going on, and someone asked me if these are going to have that as well or not.
No, these are just going to come with the one light attachment. We did it the last time thinking that people would be able to swap them in and out if they liked, and that turned into a bit of a customer service headache for us. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So we thought we'd keep it simple this time and allow you to just have it with the Mars light. If you wanted to be really adventurous, I'm sure there are some part sources out there for single headlight Burks, and you could roll your own. But for our end, we're going to keep it simple for you, and this is what you get. And, if it's really just not your cup of tea and you want to rate the next time, I don't know when Burks are going to come back around again, but it's a Burke. It's going to come back around again. And, I tend to try and do things the opposite way the next go around. So the next round very likely would not have the headlight on there.
I've owned and still own several Lionel Legacy Burks. I've also owned some TMCC ones over the years. And while I personally am not going to be ordering any because there's just nothing to... I either own the model already or there's nothing really new for me. Burks in general are some of the most fantastic legacy models I've ever ran from Lionel. They are just studs of models. They're great platform. They really look good, and they can kind of run on most layouts. They're not really big, and so you can run them on some smaller curves. But overall, I love the Burks. And I've seen a few of the custom runs that I've seen some shops doing that are very clever and, in my opinion, some not so clever. But the overall, I'm very happy to see all this. And as a C&O fan, it's really cool to see the 2765 as it was 765, just lettered and styled to look like one of the C&O Kanawas. But overall, I'm just happy to see him again. And of course, it's the return of the Polar Express, which is something that's probably been nagging people for a very long time who love the movie. And as the hobby seems to have kind of taken off over the past few years, I think people are going to be very happy to see the return of both the scale one and then just more semi-scale options.
Yeah, these are gonna be really nice. I know, John. We got a custom run. I mean, not really myself, but you got a custom run that you're working on. You want to touch on that?
Yes, very excited about a custom run we're getting done. Well, Mr. Muffin, we're doing a he's getting a nickel plate. What was it? 759 done up as the last Pocahontas locomotive when it was in Norfolk and Western paint, pulling the last eastbound run of number 4 in 71 before Amtrak. So that's going to be a really cool custom to see. Hopefully, customs are becoming some of the biggest collectibles that are out there in the modern world. So along with the fantasy stuff too. I mean, those things they're still popular even years after they come out in the catalog. I mean, look at the Pacemaker Mohawk. And that's still a super highly valued piece. So we're looking to get to see some interesting stuff from people. There's been some other requests done, I think, from other people. And so it's going to be cool to see what customs come out of this. A lot of, like you said, Ryan, a lot of people have known that this is coming. I think they've had their custom runs loaded up for a while in the chamber. So it's going to be cool to see what comes out for sure.
I do have one little thing as kind of a question and sort of a request as well, is with the whole new 5 whistle option, you give the option for multiple whistles. And I know over the years, the Burks have had some of the best whistles, I think, that have ever come out of Lionel Legacy, just audio. the 765 and 1225 have some really good sounds. But is there a chance that we'll see a return of some other whistles that have been used in Berks, such as I believe one of the RF&P Berks you did had a very very deep kind of 3 chime whistle, and then this was, I think, the first time Legacy Berks were ran. There was a C&O one that had this very good whistle that we've not heard since, and so I'm wondering if with the 5 whistle option there'll be a return of some of those other whistles, and not just the more traditional 765 and 1225 options.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking to mix things up there in the sound department. We'll definitely use our sound recordings of 765 and 1225 for sure as some of the options in these. But if you have any suggestions like that, feel free to shoot us a note at talk to us at Lionel. If you don't have our personal contacts, and let us know. It helps a lot if you can give us like a SKU number. So that we can go back and figure out what whistle that was. We probably still have it somewhere, but it might not be saved as what anybody thinks it is. So we just have to go and dig around and see what we can find. But always open to suggestions. We've got some options to play with there, so why not?
Yeah, I'll make sure to shoot an email to over, and I assume other people probably have as well, as the Berks are a very popular topic and things people really like to sound good and in general. But I believe Matt Z, do you have a question?
Yeah, I got a couple on the. I believe the rest of the questions here are just on the boiler front, the smoke box color in particular. It's asking about on the 1225 and the nickel plates, if they're going to have black, and then the 1225 it's going to have a light gray, is what they're asking about.
Yeah, on the nickel plates, it will be more of a darker color. It varies so much on the prototypes year over year. So, we have a little bit of leeway in that. We will do our best to try and sort of match what's on the locomotives now from a graphite perspective, but definitely darker than the gray that everybody hated on the last round of Berks.
Sweet. And then one more, and I don't know if you can speak to this at all, but the question's asking about passenger cars for the fantasy scheme one.
Yeah, definitely something down the road. We have run some nickel plate passenger cars in the past, I think, but we're about due to run some of those again, so it shouldn't be too long of a wait. But and definitely, the passenger cars inspired the fantasy scheme, so it'll be an easy one to do. Prototypical passenger cars to go with the fake engine.
Sweet. Or even bluebirds. That'd be cool too.
Yep.
That's right. And now, speaking of the gorgeous RF&P whistle that you had in that RF&P Berk, the H7s, which you're also blessing us with some beloved RF&P in. But man, we got some fun runs in this one. Tons of C&O variations we've never seen, color variants, and also some prototypical UP and other roads too. So let's talk about the H7s.
Yeah, this is a cool locomotive and one that we haven't done in probably about a decade or so now. And so wanted to bring it back and change a few things up, do some things we hadn't done before. And the C&O had I won't say a long career with these, because they actually didn't last too terribly long, just because they were of their size and their time of arrival. But over those years, they changed tenders a lot, and so we tried to model some of those different variations. And then they got sold off at a young age, and RF&P picked up 2 or 3 that they used in Pot Yard as hump engines. Union Pacific got a bunch. Some got rebuilt and looked more like a baby Challenger in the end than the C&O H7. But the Rio Grande is not is based off an engine that's not a true H7, but very similar lines. You don't have to squint too hard to see the Rio Grande in this locomotive. And so we put the Y2 style tender with the doghouse on that. And I think it's a very, very respectable Rio Grande locomotive for the guys out west who like some big power like this. Real fun one to do. And, between the F-19s and this and Berks, been making the C&O guys feel the Penske fans' pain in the catalogs over the last couple of years.
I love it. I was gonna say you've been giving us some insane CNO love lately with all the tender variations. My God, the F-19 had what it was like close to almost 10 different versions I think you could buy. So it's been fantastic, and you guys are doing this not just with CNO but overall. As a trend with the different variations on locomotives now, you're giving us tons of different options. It's really really nice to have as a collector. I mean, it gives you that extra collectability edge where you can get an engine that's very unique to you versus say mid 2000s you might get two different road numbers. Now you can get different tender combos and everything. It's fantastic. It's really appreciated. What do we think, guys?
I'm really excited about these. I've got my eye. I'm trying to decide between the RF&P and the CNO 1553. I like them both. Really excited about these. They just look super cool, and excited to see how they sound. Hey, I did have a question, real quick. This is not a H7 specific question. It's a whistle. When Sid was talking about the whistle, it made me think about it. But on Strasbourg 90, they've got that ghost whistle feature, and I think that's so cool. And I wanted to ask if there's any plans to, or maybe I missed it, if there's any plans to maybe roll the ghost whistle a feature out to future locomotives, maybe Vision Line or something like that.
It's a good idea. We haven't really talked it out. The ghost whistle is sort of such a unique Strasbourg thing. But that aux3 key gives us sort of carte blanche to do almost anything we want. So certainly some unique whistle signals could be a way into there. Make them blow jingle bells or shaving a haircut or who knows. We can have some fun there with that. So great idea.
Yes, indeed. And now moving on to another one of my favorites. God, you guys put so much good stuff in this catalog. You're gonna make me go broke. The 460s, the New York Central F12Es. Another great bunch of offerings. This is one of your best runs of these guys yet. We're getting some different eras of these, all kinds of stuff. Bunch of different roads, lots of accuracy from what it looks like on the renders. Let's discuss.
I mean, you're right. One of our great smaller legacy steam engines that packs a big punch and runs great on 031 curves, right? So if you don't have room for an H7 or a triplex or even a Burke, here's a great engine that gives you all the same bells and whistles in something a lot smaller. And I've always kind of liked smaller steam. I mean, I talk small steam. This is probably mid-sized, at best. But the 460s, the 10-wheelers were so popular too in an earlier era. The New York Central F12s that we did are late 460. And so there are some really great paint schemes if you dial the clock back, 10 to 20, 30 years on 460s. And we took some inspiration from that, and sort of a steam locomotive heritage unit is the way I sort of look at some of these, particularly like the New York Central and Hudson River variation or the B&O, where the prototype inspiration for those came on an earlier, smaller locomotive, but we dressed it up on the larger model, and I think it just looks good. Those paint schemes are such winners, and colorful engines always do well in the market. So even things like the CNJ there for your blue Comet trains and whatnot, just really nice locomotives that add a little something into the catalog.
Absolutely. I'm definitely grabbing one of those 1244s for sure. But man, I love that earlier Hudson River variation. So nice. Guys, what do we think? What topics and discussions and questions do we have on the 460s?
These are really nice. The New York Central is really cool, and so is the Hudson River. It gives me Empire State vibes.
Mm-hmm.
But did have one, technically two questions, but one of them is on the 460. They're asking about the blue, and they're asking about if they can use the color from the earlier TMCC and Legacy Pacifics, as well as the passenger cars. That color blue is the question.
For the CNJ?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be a very, very close match to that. I think that's what we used as our reference on this blue. Also the Camelback that we did maybe a year or two ago now on one of those recent runs where we did the CNJ Blue Comet Camelback. These should be a nice match with that.
Sweet. And on the Royal Blue set, they're asking in the catalog description mentions a Station Sounds Diner, but it didn't say which one of the packs was that. Was that just a typo?
I think that's one of those things that I didn't catch pulling out of there, and might be a little bit of foreshadowing for something coming in the not too distant future.
Oh,
We'll take that for
a
what it
leak.
is.
I'm really excited about
that's-
these because prior to the catalog coming out, I had a lot of my viewers asking if I would do an Eric's Trainz custom steam locomotive, and I said, well, if they've cataloged something that's priced at the right price point, I think we'll do it. And so I was really happy to see the 460, which is a reasonably priced steam locomotive that more people can afford, and so we're going to be doing a custom run of these with the Appalachian and Western paint scheme. So really excited about these.
Yeah, that's a good looking unit you've got coming there, Eric. I'm excited to see that one. Should do real well for you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to get the design back from you guys, but excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for these two. Of course, anything that runs on a smaller curve is right up my alley. So I don't know if I'll get any of these because, of course, they're not my road names that I run, but I do really like them. And the New York Central has a beautiful paint scheme.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I love that one. Man, that's a pretty engine. God, if I just modeled earlier times. But yeah, you see, like you said, Peachy, you see a ton of people, if they're not, if they're not full-scale people who run on smaller curves, they oftentimes own one of these locomotives because they're just so solid and reliable. So definitely looking forward to these. And I'm loving the Royal Blue. Oh, that whole consist is so nice with the early locomotive there. And the fact that y'all went to the trouble to tool up the vestibules on this, every piece of former MTH tooling you guys are doing, you're improving in some way with these vestibules or like with the Russians getting all the road specific stuff. So the fact that you guys are doing this for these coaches is really, really nice.
Yeah, I love these coaches. I think they're some of the nicest things MTH made. They were the first thing on our list when we had the opportunity. And the semi vestibule end is a neat variation in the railroading, the 1890s, 1900 time frame. And it wasn't the most difficult thing for us to add. We were able to do it quite reasonably, and you wouldn't think it makes a big difference, but we have a sample, and we'll have it with us in Springfield this coming week, and get some closer up pictures of it online. But when you see it in person, it really changes the look of these cars in a much bigger way than I expected it to, and in a very good way. It adds a nice bit of formality and class to them, and in this royal blue paint scheme, which is spectacular, I think it's going to be a real winner, as well as some of the other variations we have in the catalog. But I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to do some more things in this line with this tooling and variations and trains and so forth. It's such a colorful era, and so many good things we can do with it that I like the option there. And for the most part, the equipment tends to be friendlier on smaller, tighter curves than your 1930s, 40s, 50s era steam and diesel and streamliners and 21-inch passenger cars and so forth. So it's small layout friendly as well.
Yes, indeed. All right, now on to another big topic in the catalog: the Hiawathas. And I've seen we've seen a lot of people talking about these, haven't we, guys?
Yep, and I just want to say one thing, that I'm pretty sure Ryan was tired of me complaining about there not being enough streamlined steam engines in the catalogs over the last 2-3 years. And every single catalog show, I'm like, Ryan, come on, where's the streamlined steam engines? And then he's like, I'm so tired of Matt that I'm just gonna put a bunch of them in here with some fantastic road names. So well played, Ryan. Well played.
Yep, this is all for you, Matt, and I expect you to buy all of them.
Absolutely stunning.
With all the matching passenger cars to go along with it.
There you go, Matt. There's a challenge. But
Yep.
He almost got me too. He gave me the CNW, which is really close to the E4. But
Yeah, this is one of those cases where, I mean, first of all, we have not run this locomotive since TMCC days, so it was way overdue. With the switch over to the ABS 21-inch passenger cars and the new tooling there, and the struggles that we had with aluminum passenger cars towards the end of the production, there were some lingering doubts in my mind over whether or not we could do these cars to go with it, and that's part of the reason I held back on the locomotives for a few more years than I normally would have. But I wanted to make sure, offering these engines without anything for them to pull, they were doomed. So talking with our factory, we said, yeah, we can get a run on these aluminums. We think we can make it happen. Of course, these are painted cars, so it makes things a little easier because we don't have to polish the shells as much, or worry about runs in the aluminum things. That'll all be covered up in the paint. But having the ability to bring back the 18-inch aluminum cars, which is something people have also been sort of hungry for, with these locomotives that hadn't been done in a long time, was a great opportunity. And the Class A Atlantics are a very unique locomotive, but that sort of style of streamliner, when you look at what the CNW had, when you look at what the Seaboard had, the lines are there at least. And so I thought they made some decent candidates for some heritage units and some streamlined locomotives that we haven't done. And I'm not going to say we wouldn't do, but certainly outside of doing them as a brass hybrid, their chances would be few and far between. So cool opportunity to bring in some other similar locomotives from other railroads and some other paint schemes on the cars, and have a little bit of fun with this.
Yeah, definitely. Before we jump into some questions on the passenger cars here, I just got to say, first of all, I think you guys have shown more love to Seaboard Steam in the past two catalogs than I think has ever been done in the history of O Scale before, ever. So kudos to that. But yeah, man, that Lionel, that locomotive of the year, I that's the best one you guys have ever done. Like that is, I never buy engines like that. Like I thought about that. That is such a cool scheme on that locomotive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so this body style just lends itself well to stuff like that.
Oh yeah, so gorgeous. Sid, I think you had some questions for us on those passenger cars.
Well, I'll
there.
let Eric go. I think he had a question.
Oh yes, please, Eric. Please go ahead.
Oh, I'm just over the moon about this. I mean, I'm so. I did a video about a month or two ago about the top engines I think Lionel should bring back, and the number one was the Hiawatha. And then so when I saw this, I was just so ecstatic about it and so happy. And when I did the video, I said, I don't know how they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do because I don't know if they can bring back the aluminum cars. And lo and behold, there's the aluminum cars. So just so stoked about it. Definitely getting one of these. I'm getting the Hiawatha set, and I'm really thinking about that locomotive of the year because that just looks so sharp. So yeah, couldn't be happier about this.
Hey, Eric. So let me know what else you want to get made, and I'll just start complaining about it on the show here.
Texas Special aluminum set again.
I did have a quick question while I got the mic, and that is that are these going to have? I believe the original, the one back in the day, had the little hinged opening on the front that opens up. Is this going to have the same thing?
Yes. These will have that same feature. You can open the front door. It's sort of like a two-part clamshell that opens up on the streamlined shroud, and then you see the front of the smoke box inside there. And then the smoke box door opens too for some reason. I mean, I don't know why it was done that way originally, but must have had tooling money to burn at that point. But hey, we kept it. It's a cool thing. So we're like, yeah, we're keeping that. That's awesome.
That's cool.
That is.
And Dave and I were just talking today on this. So one other update I do want to give on these, at least for the Milwaukee Road units, these only had an air horn. They didn't really have a whistle. So whistle steam is kind of odd. We're going to keep the whistle steam on the Christmas version. But for the railroad versions, we're going to put air horn sounds in here. And since the hole for the whistle was put right where the safety valves are anyway in the new design, guess what? We're going to give you safety valve steam. So that'll give you a more realistic feature for this. We'll put probably 3 different air horns and 2 steam whistles just for the fun of it in the whistle sounds for the locomotives. But that'll give you something a little more appropriate for the locomotive with all the same play value, but a little bit more realistic.
Man, Ryan, you've got like ESP or something. You're figuring out all these questions that everybody had like before we even
Yeah.
ask them. That was like one of the top questions on the Hiawatha everybody had. So there you go, folks. There's your answer on the whistle and horn options on the
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hiawatha.
that
Was
was
gonna
the. Oh, you go.
was gonna ask if the smoke would shut off when you blow the horn. Well, if there's no smoke to blow, it won't do it. So, is the safety valve, is that going to be like the Niagara where you can hit aux 3 or it just does it automatically?
Correct. Yep, it'll be the same code. So it'll go off if you let it sit there idling long enough. It'll pop off on its own, or you can manually activate it.
Sweet.
I have a couple questions about the passenger cars, a few very specific and a couple more general. So I'll just start with the general one. Is this a sign of a return of more aluminum passenger cars and or maybe slightly less expensive just plastic aluminum cars, or is this just kind of a one-time deal since these cars are a little more specialized than most of the 21-inch passenger cars you guys have done?
Well, the truthful answer to that is it really depends on how this run does. If we see a tremendous success with this, both in terms of sales and also production ability, then I have definitely not ruled out additional runs of other styles of 18-inch aluminum passenger cars down the road, for sure. If this is a total catastrophe, then I reserve the right to change my mind. But right now, the initial feedback on these is, as you said, very positive and encouraging. So I'm encouraged by it. Of course, there's a long way to go between putting it in the catalog yet and having it in your hands. And we haven't built these in eight years or so now, I think. So the tooling is there. We did make some tooling changes on these, especially the observation end on the beaver tail, but a few other things as well with the trucks and whatnot. But I think these will go together well, and the pricing is not cheap by anyone's standards.
No.
But for an all aluminum car with fully detailed interiors with figures, considering the length of time from where we were the last time we offered these, I don't think the price increase is out of line with where we expected that it would go. And of course, when you look at the 4-pack, you've got the Station Sounds Diner included in that too from an electronic standpoint. So that also sort of comes into play with the costing on these. I think they're going to be beautiful cars. I'm really excited about the Union Pacifics. We've had a lot of, even though it's all fantasy, we've had so many requests with all the hot dogs we've sold over the last couple of years to have some matching cars to go with it. And I think these are going to look awesome, whether you go with the stylized Atlantic here or put these behind your Challenger or your FEF or what have you. These will be fun pieces to have. So right now, I'm very optimistic on the outlook of these, and every confidence will get them built efficiently and correctly, and the sales will be good. And if so, yeah, who knows what the next couple of catalogs could bring.
That would be very cool to see them continue as not that the 21-inch cars are bad. Your new 20th century cars and several other runs of those cars are fantastic, but there's definitely some differences between them and of course metal cars, and the sheen that metal cars give off, whether they're polished or just painted, is definitely a little different from a plastic car. But it's definitely cool to see them. Kind of more of a specific question is, are these, based on the images, these look to be the cars, or more similar to the cars, except for the observation that you did when you made your Milwaukee Road S3. I think they're more kind of like the Olympian Hiawatha cars. These are not the same as the cars you made back in the TMCC era with the original Hiawatha Atlantics, are they, or am I wrong?
These are the cars that I could find the closest designs for in our tooling collection today.
Okay.
So yeah, they're probably a little bit of a combination of the two in terms of the fenestration and all of that. Like I said, the observation end for sure we changed up.
Yeah.
Off of the other, even from the original beaver tail, we took the fin off of it and backdated it a little bit.
Yeah.
To give it that earlier look. but that train too changed a lot over time. So we did our best to sort of get a good match, but overall wanted something that would look good behind the locomotives, whichever version of the Milwaukee Hiawatha you had.
That's really cool. And just kind of a question. I was watching the live stream the other day. So the observation car will have a horn.
Mm-hmm.
And is that because they had, like, was that an emergency horn, or was that something they used on crossings? I don't know much backstory to that, and I think people might enjoy the story.
And I am open to correction on this, because I am not a historical expert on the Milwaukee Road. But my understanding is that there was a backup move into one of the stations, and the horn was quite helpful on that. And so it's a detail that you see very prominently on the back of that beaver tail observation. And so it was a decision Dave and I made pretty early on in this one. We said, well, why don't we put the sounds in there, and then if we put a horn on it, it'll make sense.
Yeah.
And so it was one more little bit of play fun that we could give you all with the station sounds car.
I did hear someone mention that. I just didn't know much, either behind it, and that's really cool that you're doing that. And after seeing the new cabooses that came out recently with the horn in them, or I guess it was a whistle, it definitely adds some play value and kind of immersion to the set, because you have sounds at the front of the train and the back of the train, so you get a feeling of having a full unit of a train and audio to go along with it.
I had
Oh, no, I just had one quick question, if I could.
Go ahead.
The radius, the minimum curb, is that can you play with that 054 a little bit? I mean, I know these are 442s, but I'm not sure. Is it because of the shell, or maybe the spacing between the tender and the steam engine, or maybe the tender itself? Is that why it's set at an 054?
It's somewhat the spacing between the locomotive and the tender.
Okay.
But really, it's the length of the locomotive and the frame. These are 442s, but they are the biggest 442s ever built in real life.
Gotcha.
It's a long locomotive.
Yeah.
It sits bigger than you sort of expect from an Atlantic. And you also have a lot of shrouding around some things and whatnot that really limits the amount of play we have on the wheels on the engine. So I wouldn't really recommend you try and push this too far down beyond that 054.
Duly noted. Thank you.
I had one question on the observation card. Because you're putting the sound electronics in there, are you going to have any like end of train dialogue, like the observation car is open or something like that, as opposed to the normal station sounds, or is this going to be a typical sound package?
Right now, the station, the diner announcements and things like that, we have planned will be standard. It's possible we may get an opportunity to change some things up there as we get into it, but I would expect that at least the majority of the announcements will be standard announcements, because they would have been broadcast through the whole train, obviously, and the dining car was still where the food was served for the most part and all that, although you had light refreshments and things in some of the observation cars. So I expect most of that dialogue will probably stay the same. The Christmas one, we may have a little bit more fun with something like that, as we usually do in some of our Christmas cars.
Looking to expand your collection? Check out Trainz.com. Trainz is your go-to place for new and used model railroad products. They have everything ranging from engines, rolling stock, parts, track, and scenery. If you need it, they probably have it. With new discounts being added daily, you'll be sure to find something you like. Plus, Trainz offers a newsletter which keeps you up to date on new items, discounts, and upcoming promotions. We've been using Trainz for years, and we highly recommend their stellar service. What's really cool is you can also collect points by buying Trainz and using them on future purchases. With their awesome rewards program, you can earn points on every purchase that you can use for future discounts. Dedicated modelers can also join their private car membership to get exclusive access to new listings, earn 5 points per dollar spent, and unlock great benefits like no questions asked returns. Trainz not only sells trains, but also buys them too. If you got a large collection or are interested in downsizing and making some cash, you can head on over to sellmytrains.com. It doesn't get easier than that. You can find them using our affiliate link, www.trainz.com/MMOP, or if you want to use our one-time promo code MMOP, you can get $10 off a single purchase on the Trainz.com website. So check out Trainz.com and start expanding your collection today.
Yeah, I just got to say, on the 49ers scheme, I love that you all call that the hot dog internally. That's hilarious. I absolutely love that. Yeah, those the stuff you guys have been doing, like you all have said about the sounds and everything throughout the train, is adding such diversity and just such a dynamic, fun aspect to scale modeling. It's just that immersion factor is getting so good. And we've now got the GP9s here to discuss. I know everybody loves these. These are such a great engine because they literally last forever. Like they exist from the beginning of, it feels like from the beginning of diesels until now. They're everywhere. So this is like limitless possibilities for you guys. Let's hear what you got to say. What do we got on the GP9s this year?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I can Jeeps and F units. I can throw them in every catalog and never run out of road names. And so far, I haven't had anybody complain about it yet. But eventually, they do get old, so we try and spread them out a little bit. But I think the biggest news on this one is the GP9B, which we've made a GP9B before, but it was using I would say more the traditional style tooling with the stamped metal handrails and all that. So this is really the first time we've done the scale detailed legacy Jeep 9B, and only the Peachy and the UP bottom. But if you're going to gamble on something that only two railroads bought, Peachy and UP are two pretty good railroads to choose. So we took a roll on these, and I've had a number of requests over the last few years to do B units, especially from the Peachy crowd for their trailer trains and everything else. So it's time to put those in the catalog, and they work really well with the super base. The way the motor sits in these, powering the B unit was going to be a bit of a challenge anyway with two motors. So turning it into our super base unit really helped solve that problem a little bit, but also gives you another reason to add it into the consist and get that extra great bit of sound out of there. So there's a lot of new tooling going into those B units, and a couple of other great road names in here as well that we don't typically do very often in the catalog. The Minneapolis and St. Louis sort of looks like some of the engines we did in the, I guess the pre-TMCC and all that. We've maybe the 70s or so. We did a few early engines in that paint scheme. Really nice looking locomotive. The N and W in the passenger scheme. The Bangor and Aroostook, of course, really colorful locomotive for our friends up in New England. So a lot of fun with these this time around.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking forward to a lot of these. We've heard some good stuff on all of them. Yeah, the like you said, Penchy's always a safe bet whenever it comes to anything a little bit off the wall. That's their best bet for getting something moved. What do we think about these guys? How are we feeling?
These are nice. I love the addition of the GP9B. I actually have the Near Central set from the mid '90s, and really nice set. So when I found out you guys were doing the B units, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. So plus, like you said, for the Pennsylvania, it's the way to go. That and a GP9A, let's hit it.
Yeah, and you guys have also been, got to say, given a lot of love to not just the golden era of stuff, but like with the Conrail and everything, all the Penn Central runs. Man, you guys have been giving the 70s and the 80s some good love too, and the 60s for that kind of like, different oddball era when, again, we've got so many potentials for weird, cool, different runs of stuff. It's great to see you guys modeling that stuff as well.
Yeah, it's a fun, colorful era of railroading. Even if one of the most prominent colors was rust, it's still a fun, colorful era with lots of great options, and we get tons of requests for that stuff. It continues to do well. I think we're hitting a point where a lot of folks who remember trains at that age are at that age where that's what they want. So it's good timing, and I enjoy putting it out there for people. So it's a lot of fun to research that and do it.
Yeah, I love these GP9s. I love the GP9B. That's just a cool looking B in it, and I love the fact that it's super base. Um, they look great. I'm having a hard time deciding between some of the single units or the set that we're going to see later in the catalog, but either way, I'm really excited for these things to arrive and to give them a try.
Yes, indeed. Those are going to look great. Yeah, it's like you said, Eric. It's going to be hard to choose certain pieces. I know for some of our people in this next diesel, we're going to be getting into the ES44. Man, our modern collector friends. Boy, whew, you've given them a plethora of stuff to choose from here. Holy moly! Between the got the heritage units and all these new modern roads, got the new UP paint scheme in there, and the Canadian Pacific and everything. So, I mean, yeah, holy moly, people are going to have be spoiled for choice on these guys here.
Yeah, I almost feel sorry. I mean, I don't, but I almost feel sorry on this. You know,
Almost.
we put out the ES44s pretty much every other catalog. They do extremely well every time we release them, and it's the railroad's fault. They keep coming up with all these great heritage paint schemes and new paint schemes. I think Florida East Coast just released a new paint scheme on one today.
They did.
There's no shortage of deco options for these. I mean, these are today's GP9s, right? We can do deco on these till the cows come home. I had a ton of requests though after re-releasing some of the heritage units and so many heritage units and special schemes to redo normal big road power to mix into those consists. And so I thought, okay, well, we'll have the five piece reissue of NS. I'll throw in some of the normal schemes. We'll use UP's new one. People said, hey, you haven't really run Canadian Pacific since it was a Vision line locomotive. Could we get that back again? All right, that'll give me 10 engines. That's good for an ES44. And then along came CSX. And I said, well, I'm not going to not offer these now. But the artwork was done for everything else. I said, well, let's just throw 5 more in there. And we will continue through I think we still have 10 more Norfolk Southern Heritage engines to re-release. And we will keep up with CSX. We'll probably alternate back and forth still between these and SD70s, but we'll get all of those out there eventually as well. From what I've seen, CSX has a lot in store for heritage units over the next year or so. So we will pace that out so we don't create another Norfolk Southern situation where you have to buy 20 heritage units all in one catalog cycle. But rest assured, we will get to all of them. So if you want to have the full fleet, we'll get to them in due time and be a little easier on your budgets bit by bit. So these are fun locomotives, and as long as the railroads keep coming up with new paint schemes for them, we'll keep rolling them out.
So, does this mean that there will be a CSX ACL paint scheme coming soon?
I understand they want to hit pretty much anything that was a part of their history. So, without taking any of their thunder away from them, I'm not sure what their speed or rollout plans are, but
They do have the ACL Heritage paint scheme just came out within the last month or two, I believe.
okay, yep, you know what, you're right. I do remember seeing it now, and it might make the next cycle of these in the catalog. So probably sometime in 2025, you'll see an ACL version.
Yay!
Peachy, I think you're single-handedly bringing ACL back into the limelight there, which is good because it deserves some
Yeah,
I
love.
love that paint scheme, so no problem for me on that. I mean, there's some great paint schemes out there that I like seeing come back. So
Yeah, I absolutely love the ACL. So, it's funny to watch the comments on my channel and stuff because a lot of people didn't know about it or whatever, and to see people getting into it and all that kind of stuff, it's really cool.
well, it hasn't been announced yet, but there might be a custom Hiawatha in the works that could be interesting to you. So keep your eyes out there in the next couple of weeks for some more custom announcements.
Oh wow!
boy.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Exclusive content, folks.
Awesome.
Decisions. I think I love the ES44s. It's so funny. I don't know how many I've got. I've lost count of how many ES44s I have, and yet they never get old. Like Ryan said, you can just do different paint schemes till the cows come home, and it's so hard to narrow down a choice. I'm always amazed, whenever the catalog comes out, there's people that, like the day the catalog drops, they're like, okay, I placed my order, and I'm always thinking, how can you do that? It takes me like a couple weeks to like narrow down what I want to get because there's so many choices. There's no way I could make a choice in one day and be okay with it because there's just so much.
Just get a smaller layout, Eric, and then that narrows your choices down.
Well, there's that.
Clever.
A little bit too late for that.
Smaller house.
I'm trying to join into the conversation here, but I'm having to apply for jobs so I can buy more of these awesome trains in the catalog.
Join the club.
I do have a question about the specifically the CSX version of all of the CSX versions. I am a big CNO and BNO guy, and I love CSX. It runs through my hometown. And a question that I think a lot of people have, and kind of a controversial topic in terms of the real ones, and I guess it could be a controversial thing in terms of the models. Will the change from CSX to the heritage scheme be a fade, or will it just be a straight line? I could imagine making a fade would be definitely more of a challenge for the factories, as that's kind of an inconsistent thing to do. But I have heard people ask that a few times, and I didn't know if it was decided yet or not.
It's a great question, and the answer to that is the artwork right now has it as a fade. And you don't really know it, but we actually retooled a good chunk of this locomotive about 2 years ago, so that we could, because of all the colorful schemes we've been doing on it, these become great candidates for UV printing.
Oh wow!
And so we've made some of the sections, like for example, the radiator, where it sticks out and was creating an issue for that.
Yeah.
That's now a separate part in the tool. So things like the faded line there are much more doable for us from a deco perspective.
That's
so
really
the
cool.
Artwork does have this in there as the fade, as the way CSX has done them.
This is just something I've observed. I could be wrong on this. I believe some of them in the real world do have it, and some don't. I don't remember which ones exactly. That's kind of where the controversy seem to have started from, because some people liked it, some people didn't, and so when one of them was painted with it and then one didn't, people were like, "Why'd they change it?" Or "I love the change," or "I don't like the change." But that's really cool to hear that that's a possibility, because it just means not only a fade, but like you said, just decorations in general can be easier. And so, as we've seen more recently, there have been lots of different really cool ES44s, including the custom runs for Eric, and then one for Chris RBP. Both of those were very decorative and had lots of different things going on. But that's really cool to hear, and I'm excited to see that these are in the catalog. I'm not sure if I'm going to be ordering any, as I'm not really a huge modern fan, but they are very cool to see, and I'm happy that you guys are being so creative. I just have to say, I think this catalog especially, and the last few in general, have been some of the most creative things I've seen on both the scale side and the semi-scale side. So it's definitely appreciated.
Well, thank you. Appreciate hearing that. I'm also shocked to hear that there was discord over paint schemes amongst rail fans.
Wow! Oh my gosh!
I didn't see anything
This
personally.
never happens.
I don't know where you guys are getting.
No,
never. Or about the models either. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like put all this effort in, and it's like, oh. But no, I think, Sid, to your point, the CSX did have a hard definitive stop where they were like, all right, I don't think we're doing fades anymore. Like, it's the new engines going forward are not having it. So either way, I think it'll look cool. Maybe, Ryan, either way, you guys can do the prototypical, or you can do the fades, because to be honest with you, I think the fades on these look better than the real ones. I think you guys have done a better job than the real. Not to hate on CSX. I love them. I love the heritage unit concept, but yeah, no, I think you guys are going to do a really good job of this. And hearing about the UV printing, that's fantastic.
Well, from what I can tell, and what I've seen in all the photographs of the 5 that we've got in this catalog, these were all given that fade treatment. It's definitely easier to see on some of the lighter colors where there's more of a contrast than, like, the B&O, for example, where the blues are so close. But these all seem to have the fade from what I have seen in photos. My druthers we will probably follow the prototype. But with all the custom runs, if somebody wants to throw an extra one in there with a faded out version for that detail, we can certainly get to that. But My gosh, we've got enough SKUs of these things already. I'm a little scared to start offering CSX units 2 different ways.
Yeah, no kidding. So, keeping with the diesels, we got the good old SD45s, those good mid-century models. We got tons of cool paint schemes, some classic offerings. Again, some more cool road-specific stuff you're giving to our friends over at the Anthracite Roads with the Beeline service Reading. I know some people are happy about that. You know who you are. And some tons of cool stuff. So what do we got with the SD45s here?
Yeah, this already started off as some of our most versatile tooling because it's newer tooling that we started with the idea of customizing a lot more details than was thought of a couple decades ago. So we still have all that. Rio Grande and Reading were certainly 2 of my most requested SD45 road names, but I didn't have the right headlight castings for Rio Grande and I didn't have the right cab for Reading. So we had the money in the budget this year to tool those in there and create 2 new variations. So that's why you're seeing that. Also, you've got the unique headlights on the SP. That represents some of the rebuilt units in the mid 90s. Frisco, D&H, Santa Fe, and the as delivered scheme. We've done the yellow bonnets a few times, but hadn't done the as delivered yet. So I wanted to try that one out for a change. I will say, because we had a lot of questions on the Reading unit, I know there's some things in the catalog that don't look right, or at least didn't look right in the print version originally, and we're making some changes on that as we go along. We got the designs for these units with the updated CAD files for the cab and whatnot, literally the day before the catalog needed to go to the printer. So we kind of rushed the Reading through because we wanted it to have the right details on it, and that meant that some things like the color of the plow, for example, on the front and some of the lettering things didn't copy over, and we just didn't have the time to correct it. So we are still revising that with the comments that we've received, as well as things we had in store beforehand. So I know that's probably one of the questions that's come up to you guys on that one in specific. I wanted to get that addressed here, that we're well aware of, the fuel tank color and all that, and getting that corrected. It was literally a timing thing on the catalog on these. Also want to point out for Frisco fans, to the best of my knowledge from all the research I've done, only the 911 had the coonskin herald on the nose. And so we're going to do it that way here for these as well. I think it's a cool detail. I don't know why they didn't put them all on all of them. The other units look kind of naked without it there. But the other 2 Frisco units will have just the white and red nose on the front without the herald per the prototype. So when those come out, if people have questions, and I'm sure they will, it was done intentionally to match the prototype units.
These are go ahead, John. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, please.
These are really nice. I like the D&H is calling my name. I really like those. Those are neat. But I didn't have a chance to ask her, so I do apologize. But really quick, on the ES44s, the big question's asking about the E-Bell. Is that going to be on the model?
Yeah, we'll use the E-Bell sound on the model.
Sweet. And with the SD45s, it's asking about the Rio Grande having the aspen gold on the front on the safety stripes.
Yeah, we've been honing in on Rio Grande aspen gold over the last couple of years. I think we're getting pretty close on that. So I hope to have that color right for the catalog. Although I'm sure I will hear about it one way or the other.
And then
always the way, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then got 2 more asking about ground lights.
We don't have that in these, in the tooling on these or the operations. It's something we could add, but we just don't have it in here right now.
Okay. And then it's asking about updated prime mover sounds for the 645 prime mover. I'm not sure.
It can happen if I can get access to one that we can record. So if anybody out there listening would like to extend an invitation for us to send our sound guy out to you and record 8 notches of a 645, be happy to do it.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. Yeah, no, those are really good. And can I just say, just on the topic of sounds in general, um, my God, the quality of the crew talk, not just in the diesels, but overall all of your stuff. I just have to. This is just coming from me personally as a customer. Y'all have been killing it on the new crew talk with the radio static and just the breadth of stuff that you're putting in these locomotives. Steam, like Sid, the Seaboard
Yeah.
Decapod
Hmm.
had like a southern sounding
Yeah.
engineer on there. Like that was fantastic. Like that literally makes me want to buy one. That one little thing was like, that's the cherry. That's what I have to have it for. So the fact that you guys are doing that, like you said, possibly going out and recording new sounds for your engines, that has brought so much immersion in. Sound is such a huge part of all of this. I mean, I'm sure everybody else can echo their sentiments on that, but like sound is so important to the immersion factor
Yeah.
on our model railroads, and the fact that you guys have been stepping it up so hard, juggling so many different things with the new whistle recordings and recording things in person and the new sounds. It's really been, I don't think it's going unnoticed. It's really making a difference on a lot of stuff.
We appreciate that, and I know I'll pass that on to Tracy, our audio engineer. He'll definitely appreciate that. He puts a lot of effort into it. We've recorded willingly or not so willingly. I think most of the people in Lionel's payroll now for crew dialogue. Anybody who has a little bit of a strange accent, we're like, "Hey, you get in here and sound grumpy for this." So that's good. That's working there, and certainly anytime we can get out in the field now, we have the equipment, we have that, and try and do this to get out and get sounds we can and increase that library. Sometimes just having something new and different is a big deal. But when we can make it new and correct for that locomotive or that type of locomotive, all the better.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah.
definitely agree
Oh yeah.
on the sounds. It makes a huge difference. And the fantasy sounds and stuff that y'all have done, like the Transylvania Railroad, man, that that is awesome. When I heard those sounds, that was what sold me on that unit. I won't lie. So yeah, I really appreciate all of that and all the different options for the bells and whistles and all that stuff. It's top notch.
The one that's always I've said this since I heard it on the Class A is that Trainline Brakeman startup is the best thing I've heard like in a long
Agreed.
time.
100%.
That is
Agreed.
fantastic.
100% agreed.
It's so immersive. I love it. I'm saying, like, I have to have a ticker counter for how many times I say I'm
I love that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh my god. And
Bar
oh my
none,
gosh, our beloved E6s.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was going to introduce the E6s. Do you have anything else?
No, I was just gonna say bar none. That is my favorite new sound feature. Is that extended startup?
Very cool.
Yeah, same with me, man. And we have our next one here, our beloved E6s. Oh my gosh. Oh, the paint schemes in this one, the freaking Southern and B&O in the same catalog. Y'all are killing me. You gotta
This is why.
that fact that you guys are doing that Southern scheme. Oh my gosh, we have never seen that before. In have we ever seen that scheme before in on these before? I don't think we have we?
I don't know that Lionel has done it before. I would be surprised if MTH or somebody hadn't done it. In fact, Lionel may have done it way, way back. But and that paint scheme didn't last that long on the prototype. I think we can all figure out why. But
Yeah,
it was beautiful in concept and on delivery. So I definitely wanted to bring that one back. B&O is always it's actually one of my favorite paint schemes. It's just there's something simple but stately about it that works. Neat thing about these this time is we're doing in different configurations, whether it's AA or AB, depending on how the railroads themselves tended to buy and run them. These were as frequently AB or ABB sets as they were AA or ABA sets. And so your 2-unit sets, you'll have the option for either the A or the B, depending on how the railroads bought them. And then we threw in the Super Base B for every railroad, regardless of whether it was correct or not. If you're a Milwaukee Road purist and you just want an AA consist, go for it. But if you don't care and you want the Super Base, we've got the option there for you. But I think one of the coolest ones in here is actually the General Motors Seaboard, GM Pavilion from the 3940 World's Fair train. Took a lot of time trying to look at that and figure out how the history of it transpired from year to year and what they did there. But with the see-through sides on the prototype and then bringing that into the model, I think that's going to be a really fun one.
It's so tongue in cheek. I love it that you can just see the internals of the model, and it's like other pieces you guys have done. That harkens back to your post-war 1950s the salesman samples that you guys ran back then, and then with the clear F units and everything, and then you ran again in the 90s, and it's kind of continuing that trend now into full scale.
Yeah, and we've actually been talking about doing another clear unit just to do another clear unit, and then this one was like, well, hey, here's a prototype for it. Let's do that.
But yeah, let's talk about, guys. What are we thinking about the E6s here? Sid, I know you got some opinions on some.
John.
Yeah, I love this. And this is crazy because all of my friends and probably most people who have followed me on social media and talk with me in general. I'm not that big of a diesel guy, but as of late, I've been getting into it more, and I'm very big on B&O and C&O, and so seeing the B&O set, I love it. And as of late, you've made some B&O and heritage products that have had a really good color, and so I'm excited to see these come out. And it's really cool with the optional front fixed pilot. Since they don't have a coupler in the front, and you could put that pilot on, it would definitely give a very aggressive and kind of flowing front end, as they have those really cool pilots. And in real life, slightly different model in general, but there's an engine sitting up in Baltimore that looks very similar. What is it, John? 51 is the cab number, or is it 52? That's an EA.
I think it's 51 or 52. Yeah, you definitely have the number
but
right
the fact that there's some resemblance there, and I like that engine a lot. I'm definitely happy to see all this, and again, creativity with the paint schemes, the clear bodies, and I know there's a set in relation to these units that people are definitely talking about a lot right now. So I'm very happy to see these, and I'll probably be picking up the B&O set.
Hey, John.
Yes, my good
Does this
sir,
mean I
man.
got to buy the B&Os for your cars?
Yes, it does. You knew the answer to that. That's why you asked it. Hey, you got options now, my man. Come on. Those sounds are going to be amazing.
I mean, we're buy the E7s and buy the Super Base B for this. I mean, we got options here,
Buy all of them.
To have a set of E6s, and when I'm done with that, pull out the E7s. But anyway,
we get the Capone cars too.
But you had a couple questions on these. The one was asking about the World's Fair E6, if they're going to have some special World's Fair dialogue on those.
We may be able to throw a thing or two in there. We'll probably still have your normal crew talk and whatnot. But again, as we get into it and see what recordings we can find and have free use of, we'll have some fun with that if we can.
Sweet. And then the other one's asking about the Texas Zephyr. What will be the name for the station sounds? Will it be the Silver Racer or the Texas Zephyr?
Usually we do train names and not the diner name. So Texas Zephyr would probably be the closest to that consist.
Sweet. And then one more is asking about the El Capone cars. Are they going to have figures in them? Maybe Gangster by chance?
No figures in these, but 4 screws, take off the top and fill them with whoever you want.
Cool.
Yeah, you don't need figures, buddy. You go get your own figures. Yeah, don't worry about it, okay? You fill them with whatever you want, okay? Listen, forget about it. I know that's the wrong city. I know, but still, all gangsters sound like that no matter where they're from. Yeah, we're seeing some really cool offerings this time around. And again, thank you for offering some really nice passenger car sets with these diesels, because I know we've heard in the past, we've gotten some diesel offerings where we were sans passenger cars. So the fact you guys are cataloging these with these beautiful locomotives is definitely a plus, akin to the Hiawatha. You're given the gorgeous Texas Zephyr set there with the Burlington, and those are definitely going to be a cool piece to have. That's going to be hopefully a really good seller for you guys.
Had
I'm really excited about these E6s myself. I mean, that Southern one is on the must-have list for me, and that GM demonstrator thing is just it's so unique and weird that I think I got to get that one too, because that's just something you're probably not going to see again, and I love it. It's great.
I had
And I love the scale pilot. That having the scale pilot. I think Atlas did that a few years ago with their F units, and it's such a cool idea. And I'm just thrilled that you guys are doing it on these E6s. It's going to look great.
Yeah, this seemed like a good place to try it, right? I mean, not only is it that great slanted pilot and very distinctive, but it's purely a passenger unit. Your chances of you switching with this thing, or obviously on the AAs you'll have one with a coupler open on the other end, but no one's using these things as mid-train DPUs or anything crazy like that. So you might as well have it here. It's not going to impact your curve radius or anything like that. So give people that option to make a simple conversion there and have your fixed pilot on there. Really will help the look of the locomotive.
I had one on the CB&Q set. I have the Shadowline 2-pack for the Santa Fe from a couple years back. Are they going to have a similar Shadowline effect on the cars and the engine?
Yes, very similar. Now, the cars actually have the fluting on the side, so we won't have to shadowline those, but the locomotives will be doing the shadowline paint or deco effect on there.
Sweet. Those will be awesome. And thank you, Matt, for selling me the cars. Appreciate it.
No problem.
I think a couple of my friends from Illinois and from Florida would yell at me if I didn't just bring up the city of Miami set. I didn't even know that train existed. I don't know anything about it. It's definitely flashy to me. I don't know very much about it, but it's again, another passenger set. Looks to be very kind of road specific, and it's again cool to see the creativity. And I love all the new sets, whether it's a passenger set or a freight set. I got the new Western Maryland Hotshot set, and I think all the sets that I've been seeing and some of the ones I own are some of the best products that have been coming out from Lionel recently.
Definitely. And Sid, to your point too, I've been learning, like, every catalog, I learn at least, if it's not 1, 2, 3, or 4 new things about, like, just railroad history in general. I mean, the amount of research you guys have been doing on stuff is nuts. Like, whoever heard of those clear, E6s? I mean, my gosh, I'm learning so much from these different runs you guys are doing. So kudos to you on the research on stuff. You are coming out with some really good some sets as well. So it's been good. All right, let's see. We got the the SW8's next. Another fantastic, everybody loves it kind of locomotive. Some really cool runs in this one too. Got some Air Force. Got some lot of Midwestern love in this catalog. We've been hearing Texas and Pacific, some CNW, lots of good stuff. Let's hear about the SW8s.
Yeah, same great features and whatnot that you've seen on our switchers over the last few years. The fixed pilots, great sound, single motor drive with the all the wheels powered. These things just run smooth. They sound great. They smoke great. They're fun locomotives, and you can never have too many switchers, right? The SW8s are neat because there are as many in industry and private owner hands as there were on the railroads. So it gives us an option for some fun road names here from time to time, and some things we haven't done before.
Absolutely. Guys, what do we think? Got any stuff on the SW8s?
Well, it's not here in this catalog. I've seen quite a handful of times a Atlantic Coastline for Peachy, so maybe down the line.
I do have the SW7 ACL switcher, so
sweet.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is one of my favorites. And of course, I've got Eric's switcher too, so I like to run those ones together.
Oh, that was such a good custom. That was a really pretty
It
engine.
was.
Sweet. Well, if we're good on the SW8s, let's roll on to the U-boats, our fantastic 70s goofy, weird, curvy diesels. Also some great road names with this, and also I think we're seeing some more road specific stuff on these. What do we got on the U28Cs?
Yeah, well, we got some tooling we haven't run in quite a while. There are some variations from the catalog art as well, but because of that. But yeah, we've got some different road specific details in terms of plows, rooftop details, things like that. Also, some different lighting packages with the variations of the nose headlight, the Southern Pacific. Of course, they never saw a light function they didn't like or one on their engines, so we've got all that crazy good stuff on there. Yeah, I'm excited to bring these back in the lineup. The U28C wasn't a huge seller railroad wise, but they changed hands a number of times, so we've got a couple good paint schemes on here, and build off of this and run some U30s and other U-boats down the road in the near future as well.
Yeah, no, these are really cool to see. And again, like lower horsepower diesels, such as the 28, are kind of akin to smaller steam, even if they're the same size of diesel. It's just cool to have that variety where you can model. I mean, guys who buy, 20 diesels of the same road name, they love having this kind of stuff where they get to have a weird specific road number of some weird model diesel. There were like 3 of on the road. So it like you said, there's always something to put in the catalog. So it's great to see stuff like this.
The SP is calling my name, kind of just like what Ryan said. I love when I see a SP engine. It's got all kinds of crazy lights. So yeah, that's a really cool one. This and the SDs are really kind of speaking to me. I love all that SP lighting action. Really cool.
If Johnny was here, he could foam over the SPs with us.
Yeah, something like
we'll
that.
Foam for you, Johnny.
Johnny, we're still listening to you.
That's right. The gospel of SP. All right, so let's move on here. We got some sets to discuss here. First of all, the beautiful nickel plate Burke set is very attractive, very great classic nickel plate pieces in that with the caboose and the trailer flats everybody loves. That's definitely gonna be a good seller, I think.
Yeah, lots of great color schemes and lots of fun in this set. This one is, pilot to marker lights. There's a lot going on in here between the Vision stock car and caboose, and then our return of the hot box reefer is going to be a fun piece. So just as soon as you get the cattle settled down, you're going to have a hot box and all sorts of great stuff in here. You can play with this set for hours.
Yeah, it's a really fun one. Again, that salesman factor of getting all those fun features into a set. And speaking of fun in the set, oh my gosh, the AEC set straight out of the 50s and the 2000s. Oh my god, I remember seeing sets like this in your guys' catalog when I was a kid. So this is so cool to see. Love this.
Yeah, with our big anniversary coming up in another year, we've been having a lot of fun starting to look back through older catalogs and getting some inspiration. And sometimes it's so cool that you just don't want to wait another year to do it. So we put this one in here with the Jeep 9 and all the glow in the dark fun stuff. Of course, the Freight Sounds boxcar. Hey, we should add a Geiger counter to this, and they're like, yeah, let's do that. So it'll be a really fun train. And then you've got the B unit there too to add in if you want some more power. And as much talk as we've had over this. I would imagine there's a very good chance we'll see some more cars along this line in the not too distant future as well, if you want to expand the set.
Yeah, I totally love this set. I'm absolutely ordering one. It's on the must-have list. Getting the B unit too. I can't wait to see it on my layout. It's going to be so much fun.
And I will vicariously enjoy it through your video there, Eric. So I cannot wait to see it.
You can finally have an actual nuclear set, Eric.
There we go.
Go with your nuclear power plant. This is an awesome set.
And his nuclear engine that he built a long time ago.
The ES-44.
Yeah, I remember that.
You wouldn't believe the number of messages I got from people who actually thought it was real. I remember one guy was actually he was pissed off / concerned. He was like, it's illegal to have uranium in your house.
Oh my gosh. You can't make stuff like that up. Holy moly. Just pop down to the the nuclear power station, just grab some. That's like a Homer Simpson thing when he walks home with the ingot in his back. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, Peachy. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no. I was just saying this is just a really, really cool set. I love the glow in the dark aspect of it. And the glow in the dark Halloween triplex, triplex, however that is said, super cool.
I think it's really
Yeah, I love
cool. You
the
guys are going to
fun.
have the Geiger counter sounds uh, on the box car. That's going to be cool. It should. It'll go nicely with my Lionel Geiger counter that I'm going to do a video on one of these days.
Nice.
I do have one quick question on the set. It's awesome. The gondola that has the atomic waste canisters in it. Will those canisters be illuminated? Or are they just going to be a load that glows in the dark?
They're just going to be a glow in the dark load. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any good way on that car to hide wires and lights going up into them.
Yeah.
So now that being said, if somebody wanted to do it on their own, would not be a terribly difficult do-it-yourself, fun project for a weekend.
Oh, for sure.
No, from the set perspective, they'll just come with as a glow in the dark load.
Okay.
There you go, Sid. There's your next project, glow in the dark car. Make it happen.
No, I know there's those post-war guys that are gonna be like, it was illuminated or whatever they said. I just remember I remember always seeing those cars. I think I actually saw one the other day when I was at one of the stores local to me. But no, that set is very cool, and it's definitely a set that deserves the glow in the dark treatment.
Yes, indeed. Then we got the City of Miami. This is such a cool freaking set. I love that you guys are doing this. This is a hidden gem in this catalog right here.
Yeah, I was afraid it would go kind of unnoticed, or be another one of those. What's that? But a lot of people really showing some love for this set, which I'm happy to see, because it was a beautiful train in real life and a fun one to add to the layout. Great color scheme.
Absolutely. And let's keep rolling here. See what else we got in the little catalog. We got the oh my gosh, the Looney Tunes rolling stock, and the I know people are loving this kind of stuff. Scale guys like me, I mean, I love when a little bit of realistic fun is injected into it. So those are fantastic. We got the separate sale passenger cars. You guys are just offering a great bunch of rolling stock. I know, it's kind of hard to sell freight cars sometimes when people have a million freight cars already. But no, you guys are making some fantastic choices in these offerings this year.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes cars are just a lot of fun. We'll be getting to Meghan and Cori soon, and they've been having a lot of fun with the license. And I said, let me play too. So I remember Saturday morning cartoons. I'd put one of these things on my layout, but it would be cool if it blended in with the rest of my freight train, right? So that it looked railroady. And that was the approach we took on the scale cars. I think it's a cool piece. You could put that in your string of boxcar red PS1s and, see who catches it as it goes by.
Exactly. And then my absolute favorite thing in the entire catalog, the hot box reefers.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Yeah. All the thanks goes to Dave and the engineering team on this one. All I did was say, hey, we should bring back the hotbox reefer. And then after throwing some things at me, they got to work on doing this, and it's going to be a really cool car. It's basically a Vision reefer, but with the added fun of the hotbox operation in there. All new sound recordings, of course. It's heads and tails over the last round of these that we did decades and decades ago, both as a scale car and just in terms of the features and control that you'll have with it. It's going to be a really fun piece, and the development that went into this paves the way for some even more cool things to come with our rolling stock and our new standard soundboard now for the years to come. So we have some more great ideas cooking up for the future, but I think this is going to be one that you're just going to have a lot of fun playing with on your railroads for sure.
I had actually was going to bring something up with the milk cars if we're moving over there, but I like the O'Leary Dairy milk car, especially when it says Chicago, Illinois. So that's kind of a little tongue-in-cheek thing, I'm guessing. So because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the O'Leary's cow is the historical or mythical cow that kicked the lantern over that started the Chicago fire. Right.
That is correct. That is correct. It's a little bit of a nod to that, to the Chicago history. Someone posted somewhere, it got back to me, and it really is a great idea, and I'm kind of kicking myself around there. They said, missed opportunity. That should have been on one of the hot box reefers.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say,
future product idea. That one might have to happen down the road.
A hot box milk car.
Yeah.
There you go.
You'll have warm milk.
Yeah.
Why is this milk so smoky tasting?
I had a couple on the hot box reefer. I know Sid, you had one. Go ahead.
Oh, it was just real quick. So I think I heard it on the live stream, and you kind of just said it now. So will we be seeing more so you said there's some newer electronics in these, and just the overall design of the audio? Will some of that trickle into not only freight rolling stock but also the station sounds cars? Because I'm a technical person. I like to look at things. I like to tinker. So I've opened up some of my newer products, and the engines I know pretty much all have this new standard board. But I've noticed the passenger cars, and I haven't really opened up a ton of the newer freight cars, but they seem to have maybe slightly older tech in them. This car's development means some of that will trickle in, and over time, all of the rolling stock will have a kind of standardized, more modern set of electronics and audio formatting in general.
Yes, yeah, that's the plan. That this will work in our rolling stock, both passenger and freight. It gives us several more feature options, some standardization of parts, which is always great, replacement of obsolete parts, which is always great. But of course, things are also always changing. I do see us having a couple of different sort of levels of sound equipped cars.
Mm-hmm.
You have sort of your, for lack of a better term, like a smart car, like these Vision cars or the hotbox reefers that have a lot of interaction, command control capabilities, and so forth, versus more of a passive or a dumb car like a freight sounds car that you put on the track and it makes noise. Right?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Really easy. And I don't want to make all the cars use the high end board if I don't have to, because that just drives up costs for no reason.
Oh yeah.
But so we'll still have some difference in categories like that. But when we get past the, just put it on and make noise phase, then yes, this board will give us a more of a one size fits all to that level of product with some cool options in there. And I'm not going to let any more things leak out of my mouth tonight about what some of those things might be. But trust me, we're working on some cool stuff.
That's really cool.
Had a couple questions on the hotbox. One of them was when you're not activating the hotbox sequence, is it going to have regular like rail sounds and all that?
Yes, yeah, you'll get the regular clickety clack freight sounds as it's going along under normal conditions.
Sweet. And then the next question is asking, how granular will the hotbox sequence be? Like, is it something where you just click it on and it goes and it's done, or does it have like different levels?
No, it has different levels, and the more you interact with it, the quicker you stop and cool the car down and stuff like that, the different scenarios you'll get with it. So there's a lot more interaction built into this, so that you can trigger it and do things with it as you'd like. So it's very controllable, but it also is a fun way to sort of throw in there and create some operating drama for you if you don't have enough troubles of your own.
Sweet. And then one final one is again, I don't know if you can speak to this, but the guy's asking if with redoing the hotbox reefer, is there a chance maybe to see like the breakdown B unit come back?
No comment.
I see.
Okay, all right.
You heard it, folks. He said definitely no. Wing. No, that's fantastic.
Awesome, sweet.
All righty. Do we have any more on the hot box, or was that everything? That was it. Okay. What do we got next up here in the rolling stock section?
Looks like we've got the conclusion to the Union Pacific World War II boxcar series. This was a fun one to do. Lots of great cars. We've got, of course, the rest of the other 12, the regular poster cars, and then one more sound-equipped car with, I think, my favorite poster, the Look Dad poster on there, and then a custom caboose to match. So no matter what UP power you want to pull this with, just some great advertising art and a really fun piece. Overall, this would be a really impressive train.
Yeah, it's a really cool ensemble you guys have put together there. And then we got the Freight Sounds, always a fun piece to have in the train. The Freight Sounds boxcars, getting some good different road names on there. Loving that RF&P representation on the chassis. And I think we had some stuff on the tankers, didn't we, Matt?
Yeah, we had this tank car only got one question. It's asking, will the silver ones have any kind of chrome finish?
No, they'll have our normal silver finish. The chrome finish tank car might be something kind of cool to do as like a special one-off, but you didn't really see a whole lot of that in real life. So these will have a pretty standard finish on them.
Cool. And I got one on the.
Sorry, Matt,
what's up?
I was gonna say, I remember everything is chrome in the future.
Yes. Future.
Future. Quick thank you, Ryan. Thank you for putting Winchester and Western on those covered hoppers. Oh my gosh, repping my local road. You guys are amazing.
I used to see them rolling all the time past my house as a kid, so it was a fun one to do. And I like this weathering idea. I hope that takes off. I haven't heard a whole lot of buzz about it. I know a lot of O-gauge guys don't like their trains dirty, but the graffiti cars do so well for us that this was worth a shot. And with the UV printing, we have an option to do that. And of course, you could still go further with these things and weather them even more and do more things to them, but get you a really good start on a realistic looking freight car right out of the box.
Yeah, the less is more approach on that looks really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited about those weathered hoppers. I can't wait to see those in person.
I have a question for you, Eric. Are you gonna get more of the flat cars with the trailers on it now that you know how to put the trailer on?
Yeah, I might. I like those a lot. Those are cool.
I had a hard time with our first ones that we had too, so I felt your pain when I watched your video.
Yeah, it was funny. I cut out about 5 minutes or so of me like trying to get the darn thing on, like looking like an idiot.
No, those cars are awesome. I love those things for unit trains, and got our gorgeous Vision cabooses here coming out. That's such a cool. I love the fact that you guys are doing stuff like that. Again, immersion.
Now, are these Vision cabooses, or they don't have sound or anything, do they?
The two Pennsylvania varieties down there at the bottom of the page do have.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. I didn't even see that. Sorry.
The box collector in me is going to ask: are these going to come in black boxes or orange boxes?
I'm pretty sure we did black boxes on those the last round, and we'll do that again.
That's sweet. Come on! You knew I was going to ask. Come on,
Mr. Box,
Mr. Box, yes sir. But,
who are you? What
I know, right? But I did have one more quickly on the 50,000 gallon tank cars when we get to that.
There we go. And now these are what do you got, Metsy? These are some cool old toolings.
Yeah, these are former Weaver, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And the question's asking what changes or upgrades have been made to the run. And as a quick aside, at first I thought these were the ethanol tank cars, and I got really, really excited. And then I looked again, I'm like, not quite, but close.
Yeah, a little bit of a smaller car than the ethanol car, and certainly a little easier on the price, on the wallet than the ethanol cars. Although we are due for a run of those tank cars in the near future too, I think. New trucks on these, of course, like our Lion scale trucks, and we'll make sure we get some adequate weight in these cars so that they track well. We have not built these here from this tooling yet, so as we get around and test them, if we notice there's anything else that needs to be adjusted, we'll definitely take care to make sure that we make these things run as good as they look.
Definitely. Are these, quick question, literally just popped in my head. Are these being released as Lion scale, as the old Weaver ones are, or are these just regular Lionel line?
These are just in the regular Lionel line.
Oh, fantastic. That's great to hear.
Want to support your favorite O-Scale podcast and rock some awesome merch? Well, now you can. We've teamed up with Redbubble.com and have come up with a great selection of gear that you can get right now. They have everything from shirts, hoodies, stickers, mugs, bags, you name it. Heck, you can even get a wall clock with us on it. All this great stuff and more at Redbubble.com. Links are down in the show notes, so grab yourself some gear and rock some awesome podcast merch.
All right, and with that, we've come to the end of the scale section, and time for traditional scale
All
now.
right. Bring on the true experts.
All righty, Meghan and Cori, thank you so much, Ryan. How are we doing? We got traditional scale up next.
We are great and excited to talk about the traditional side of the catalog.
All right. We've always got good stuff in here. So, of course, doing the scale Berks, we got to get right in with the traditional scale Berks.
Yeah, there's no shortage of Berks in this catalog, and these were pretty popular back in 2019, so we had to bring back some different road numbers on the nickel plate and in the C&O, bringing in the Louisville and Nashville as well, and you'll see a special one a few pages down the line here. These have all the LC2 capabilities in them. And another popular one that we're bringing back by popular demand, lots of the Genesis locomotives in all kinds of different Amtrak phases and heritage schemes. I think my favorite on here would be probably the MTA Conrail Heritage scheme.
Oh yeah, like you said, we're getting spoiled with the heritage schemes from the railroads. They're making you, giving you guys spoiled for choice. I know tons of people have been asking, for these Metro North units, and some people in this area are definitely going to be enjoying those up in the tri-state area, looking for those, the beach ball and the Conrail and everything. So it's so cool that you guys are offering this with this tooling. Again, another great use of the former MTH stuff, getting these different units out. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be looking to pick these up.
Yeah, absolutely. They did really well last go around, and I'm excited to be able to bring them back so quickly.
The one I'm looking forward to, maybe a possible future run. When I saw that unveiled, I loved it. Was the New York Central. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, you and me both.
I was gonna say, I don't. Is it MTA that did the New York Central, or was it someone else? I don't know enough about the.
No, it
Okay,
was
so
MTA. It was
yeah,
the same
so
line, so it's like further
yeah,
along.
so as they continue to maybe release more heritage units, do you plan to do more with this tooling, or is that not in the works?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we continue to see schemes and have the opportunity to get a good handful of them going, we'll keep releasing them as long as people keep enjoying them.
That's very cool. Hopefully, the response to stuff like this is very similar to responses to things like the ES44s. I know that this is probably a licensing thing that's kind of hard to deal with, but I know there's this person in one of the Discord servers who really likes Via Rail, and so I bet I wouldn't be surprised if he would enjoy he likes P42s in general, but I assume Via Rail is something that's hard to get a hand of the licensing for.
Yeah, we have a pretty good team at Lionel that handles all of our licensing stuff, so it's never a never say never type situation. They really do their best. If there's something that's really popular, they always try to reach out and see what we can do.
Very cool.
Yeah, and this is a great piece too, because I mean, so many kids, kids want stuff, their first train and everything, they like seeing what they see in real life. So the fact they can have a good looking proportion diesel to run on, one of their first layouts, getting an Amtrak model or one of the other ones that they see every day is a fantastic thing to have.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with either the Lion Chief 2.0 or regular Lion Chief locomotives, anything that we can get them to get started and things that they're familiar with, we're always happy to do that.
I gotta tell you, I played with one of these a little while ago, and the sounds are fantastic.
They really are.
You guys did
I
a
can attest to that, too.
fantastic job with the sound set. Give Tracy a big round of applause. You did a fantastic job.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely pass it along to Tracy. He does a great job.
The just one comment in general about the entire this is just all Lionel products, but I got to experience one of the I believe the former MTH 280 tooling. You guys just released them in the sets and separate sale, and It was one of the more newer semi-scale Lion Chief based products that I'd seen, and in general, all Lion Chief products recently have just been fantastic, and they're just such great quality. When I was holding the engine and running it, it reminded me of my childhood because I had a very sturdy Lionel starter set, and it's cool to see it continuing as it's a product that people can play with. It can get used and abused, and it'll still keep going. And the fact that it does keep going means they're not just gonna it's not gonna just break and then, oh, this isn't fun anymore. That it'll just keep going forever, and kids will stay in the hobby.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we want to hear with people enjoying our logos.
Definitely. Sid, I think I always say this. This is one of my little phrases, but I always say there's a lack of pretension
Yes.
about Lion Chief products. Not that they're not high quality, of course, but just like there's just a sense of fun about them, and that they're just designed to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
That you don't really get with other pieces. And oh my gosh, the doodle bugs! So excited to see more of these. Oh my god, you guys are really, really going hard on these. I love all the different offerings you all are doing on these. This is going to be. These were such great sellers the first time. I mean, how many people, guys, did we see? Everybody wanted to. Everybody was getting one of these, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Which one was it? I think the Christmas one. The fact that the coupler, I think Open Sound, was a squeaky toy. That's just creativity on a whole new level, and I loved it when I heard that. That was just so cool.
Any plans to make a paint scheme where the doodlebug is painted like a ladybug?
Oh, that's very clever.
Oh, that's funny.
Maybe
That's
hey,
good.
that could be an Easter one, right? Or something. I don't know. Spring one.
Yeah, so speaking of bringing things back, it's so cool to hear you guys' excitement about the doodle bugs. We affectionately call these doodles internally. Once you start saying it, you can't not say it. And we agree, like, really wanted to bring out a whole new variety of road names. I think two of my favorites in terms of overall look is the Rock Island and the Golf Mobile in Ohio. I just think they're so sharp, but a little something for everybody, including actually a polar deco scheme that you're going to see a bit later, which is exciting. But yeah, these are just like packed with a lot of technology. So even if you don't have like a full set in one of these road names, you can still enjoy the product, and you're going to get that Bluetooth, the smoke, the Lionel voice control, all those fun features that you would expect.
Yeah, I absolutely love these things. I just finished writing a review of one for the OGR magazine a couple days ago, and they're just so much fun. I was really close to doing an Eric's Trainz Appalachian and Western Doodlebug, but I took a poll and more people wanted a steam engine than the Doodlebug. But if it was up to me, I probably would have just done the Doodlebug because it's I just love these things. They're so cool, and I love that the price is reasonable. So it's something that is fun and yet affordable. But it's I think these are scale, aren't they? I'm pretty sure
They're pretty close.
Yeah.
They are pretty close to it.
So yeah, these things are just great.
Yeah, that's a great thing. You can get one no matter what you model, if you do scale or traditional.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I run it with my scale stuff, and it looks just fine. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Got some more licensing stuff here. Disney. I mean, it's been a huge Disney year. My gosh, their 100th anniversary. So definitely not surprised to see some more Disney stuff in here.
Yeah, within the 100th anniversary was actually the 10th anniversary of Frozen. It's hard to believe that movie's been out for 10 years. I feel like it just came out yesterday. We had some success with the Frozen 2 set not too long ago. But people really wanted to see was Olaf. So we wanted to bring Olaf back and feature him pretty heavily. This go around, what's really cool about this one, it's got the lighted tender, the lighted coal load, similar to what it had in the Frozen 2 set. But also features the fun bobbing head boxcar, so that'll have Olaf and Sven bobbing down the track as it goes.
Yeah, you see these all over display layouts. The Frozen, the general that you guys did with the light up tender. I mean, we know our friend Chris RBV, he loves that set that he has. His kids love running that. So it's always a big one with the kids and people who love this franchise.
Yeah, anything we can ever do to add, whether it be fun lighting effects or animation within the sets, we really strive to make sure there's some extra amount of fun in these types of products.
Definitely. We got the John Deere. John Deere is always another great. Always, I mean, whenever I go into hobby shops, they always have at least one John Deere product in there. That's a beloved franchise as well.
Yeah, it's really just a classic license that looks good on any layout. Again, bringing in the cool Tomy loads, you have to have a John Deere tractor when you have your John Deere train, and we get to reutilize the really cool load for the hopper. This time doing it as the fertilizer hopper with those burlap sacks in the hopper. Again, really fun to be able to bring that back, following it on the other 280 set from the last catalog. And then you can't have a John Deere set without some John Deere accessories. So, of course, we have to bring that barn in with the heavy deco on it with the John Deere branding.
Yeah, and then we got the Looney Tunes again. Boy, that Acme factory, holy moly. I saw so many people talking about that exploding Acme factory.
That was definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, not only will it have explosions, it'll have the smoke as well. So that, again, will be really fun. Realistic sound effects in there, similar to what we did with Sergeant Stumpy's a few years back.
Sergeant Stumpy. Cori, you had something to say on the Acme
Oh
factory
yeah,
there?
that's just was definitely one of my personal favorites. I think it's just so much fun. And going back to what Ryan said, just to briefly touch on the box cars you see on the left, he likes to have fun by bringing, some of the playfulness of Looney Tunes into his line, and it works the other way as well when you bring that prototypical look back into what normally is a very fantasy-like world. So yeah, this is just an opportunity for us to kind of go wild. But Megan created this awesome set too that she'll be talking about as well.
Yeah, this set was featured in our C2 catalog. Wanted to give it a chance to get some more love. Has the fun chasing gondola and just heavily decoed with all those Looney Tune characters that everyone loves. All the pieces of rolling stock that you'll see in this catalog are going to look amazing with this set.
Whenever I see these Looney Tune sets are very cool. I keep seeing them, and I have a friend who really loved the Scooby Doo set, and whenever I see these, I always think they're the Scooby Doo set. Is there any chance the Scooby Doo set will return? Because I recall that set selling really well, and so much so that it just sold out everywhere, and it's hard to find now.
Yeah, never say never. I think as far as licenses are concerned, when there's a lot of demand for it and it's really popular, there's always an opportunity for it to come back.
I was also going to ask about the Scooby-Doo set because I agree, Sid, this really does remind me of that one. So I'm just putting my 2 cents in and saying that I would absolutely love to see a Scooby-Doo set again.
Well noted.
Yeah, you
Peachy,
kind of hit
for
marketing
sure.
fire with that Mystery Machine Diesel.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that scheme on that. Oh my gosh.
Definitely, that
This
one
will
was
all
really
make
cool.
Howard very happy. Howard
Yeah,
is
for
a
sure.
huge Scooby-Doo fan.
I like the coyote splattered on the front. That's awesome.
I didn't even notice
Well,
that.
that's
That's
always-
so cool. I never noticed that.
Yeah.
That's always where Wiley would end up there on the front of an F unit at the end of most of the cartoons. So that's perfect place for him there.
Yeah, and Roadrunner is in the cab window as well. So
Oh,
my gosh, that's
Oh,
fantastic.
So many things I'm not even noticing.
yeah, I didn't notice that either. That is awesome. There's a lot of great detail on this.
Okay, this better have the meep meep he did as the horn. That would be amazing. Or as the bell, the e-bell with a meep meep. That would be hilarious.
And I'll 4th or 5th the Scooby-Doo set, definitely. Ruby Roo!
I guess I'm number
Noted.
6 now, or however many people it's been. Yeah, Scooby Doo.
It's official. Rerun or rerun it. Oh no, he said his R's as L's. Rerun or rerun it,
Reggie. There you go.
awesome.
Like man, gotta do
Oink
it.
zoink scoop.
It's marketing genius. And then, holy moly, this was okay. This got like a lot of the older collectors talking. The reintroduction of the Prairie, which we haven't seen, I think, since the late 70s, I think was the last time that was run.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and I got to give credit where credit's due. This is definitely a labor of love project for Dave Olson in our engineering department. He really absolutely loves this locomotive, and we had to bring it back with new tooling.
So is there anything about this engine that is based upon anything from the post-war or the later, or I guess early modern era, or is this fully brand new, like new chassis, new shell, like everything?
Yeah, this is fully brand new.
That's very cool.
That's awesome. I had a question on this. This is obviously a Lion Chief set. Is there a chance to bring this up maybe to Lion Chief 2.0 standards, like the fan-driven smoke and all that? That'd be really cool to see one of these as that.
It's definitely a possibility and something that we'd consider. It's just a matter of will everything fit with inside the engine. And I am sure that Dave will have more to say on that and as we keep going.
Sweet. Cool.
I could also see a market for this being done just as a conventional engine, kind of as a post-war throwback. Because again, so many people love this this classic set. You guys have your big anniversary coming up. So like you said, doing with the AEC set, and then you're kind of giving us a little teaser here with this. I'm sure it would be a good, if it's at all possible, I'm sure people would love to see something like this in conventional as well, if it's at all a possibility. But either way, it's just such a cool thing that you guys are honoring your heritage with a piece like this, which is so ingrained. I mean, this was hundreds of thousands of kids' first locomotives.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no shortage of good ideas on what we can do with this and what you'll be seeing in catalogs to come. This particular set was a recreation of one from the 1940s, and then there's plenty more to take it from inspiration from as we go forward.
Definitely, definitely. And you guys are offering them separate sale as well, which is fantastic, along with the classic 60s and 70s inspired Atlantic, which you guys have, or the was it Atlantic or is it a Columbia?
These are 242s.
Oh, 242s, excuse me. Neither. But yeah, two legendary engines in traditional scale from Lionel.
Yeah, we really gave a plethora of different Lion Chief options this go around. We had so many different road names and paint schemes that we wanted to do, and we really wanted to give people an opportunity to kind of piecemeal their sets and what they wanted to add to their layouts. Between the really fun scheme on the New York Central to the U.S. Army set and some additional schemes in the themed sections. These Lion Chief locomotives, again, really easy to use, Bluetooth compatible, can be run with the universal remote. And again, the ability to pick what road name inspires you and be able to add as much rolling stock as you want, freight, passenger cars, but really giving you that opportunity to piecemeal what you want to add to your layout if you're not into getting sets.
Yeah, definitely. These are always a great selling point for people who don't necessarily want a set, but they want to get a locomotive, just to add on to what they have already. You guys know exactly what you're doing with that pacemaker Columbia too. That's fantastic. And then we got the ever beloved FTs, which have been a staple in your line. Doing some great offerings here with the dummy units for the train sets you guys are offering, and some more classic paint schemes. Those are looking really good.
Absolutely. It was really exciting to be able to do the dummy units this go around. The Santa Fe Super Chief is a set that we offer year over year over year, and people have had them in their hands for quite some time. So to be able to add these pieces on to established sets that they already have is a real winner in my book.
I think it was Eric. I can't remember who it was, if it was Eric or RBP, who reviewed the Texas Special set. And it's definitely cool to be able to expand those sets that are very very like legendary, and for some people, kind of nostalgic as something they might have either grown up with or seen. You can expand the set and then continue to grow as you expand your, whether it's a small layout or even a big layout. It's just it's cool to see that you can expand what you already have without having to, go all the way up to the next level. You can just add to your existing set.
Absolutely. We never want to forget about, people who have bought sets prior. We want to be able to make sure that, as we introduce new catalogs, we'll remember, oh, we did this, and this will go back with the set that we did a couple years ago, or this will go back with a set that we did just in a last catalog cycle. So to be able to continue to add to things that people have existing is very important to us.
I will say a quick add-on to the sets was the Santa Fe set. My little brother has the Super Chief set that you guys did a couple sections ago, and really nice set. The engine is fantastic. The cars are really cool. All in all, really nice set. The announcements, it's basically a station sounds diner in an engine. It's fantastic. So great job.
Yeah, that's a really classic set, and you'll actually see an additional piece that we have to add to it in a few pages.
Sweet.
Yeah, and those ET44s, man, I can't see, shops can't keep those on the shelves. They're so popular. Kids clamor for that modern stuff they can model. The fact that you guys brought that out as a brand new tooling a few years ago, those things, keep them making, because those things are selling.
Yeah, awesome. No shortage of paint schemes for these, and we also like to have fun with fantasy schemes, such as the U.S. Army, and again, some you'll see further on down the line.
Hey Ryan, is there any chance we might see looking at that Texas special? Is there any chance we might see a return of the scale Texas special passenger set one of these days?
I mean, it could certainly happen. It's one of those great road names that's sort of a big part of Lionel's history. And so as we get to anniversary years, I always like to look at stuff like that crosses, checks a lot of boxes for the person who just wants it because they like the Texas special and whatnot, to that nostalgia factor. So, definitely a possibility there in the future.
Right on.
I like these ET44s. The sound sets, I'll just kind of like go on top of what Mad Z said, but the sound sets in these things, and the engineer and dispatch and kind of the conversation that they have is just like phenomenal. And I think they're usually like road specific as well, if I remember right, which is like fantastic to have in like a Lion Chief engine.
Yeah, we try to do that where we can, but these will have the road number specific where we can.
Gotcha.
And also love the female crew
I-
member representation.
I was going to
as well.
say
You guys
that.
always
Oh my gosh.
love that. Oh, we think alike.
Yeah, +1.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
And it
hearing
won't
that.
be Cori, because Cori's never been an engineer in any Lionel engine. Right, Cori?
Ha 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 ha.
I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to bring that up in every catalog episode now.
Let's see what else we got here. We got the the speeders, the ever beloved speeders, in some great new rodent names. Got some really fun schemes this time
That's
around.
right. We get a lot of creative liberty here. You'd be amazed what you see out there on the rails. Just fun schemes. I think the one that is really going to hit is going to be the Area 51, because this entire line of Area 51 product is just, it looks so good. It's so cohesive, and this will just be a great addition. And then also, like, there's two other speeders that you'll see a bit later in the catalog, and we've added some new tooling by adding a snowplow to. So lots of exciting things, a lot of technology packed in such a little guy, but man, this thing zips around the layout, and it's just a lot of fun to create.
Yeah, I'm super excited about the one with the plow, and these two. I mean, I like to collect these motorized units, and I was really excited to see the new tooling with the plow on the front. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Actually, I have a question on those. So I don't sure if this is a typo, but it says Team CC Speeders, but you actually note Legacy Control Systems equipped. Am I reading that wrong, or?
Yeah. So it's actually it's funny you bring this up. This was the way we wrote this feature bullet, it does allude to that, but it is not. It is a TMCC, or you could run in conventional. We could have definitely worded that bullet point better, and will in the future. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from there.
Okay, I mean, not that it matters too much. I mean, I kind of understood it anyway, but I love these things. These are some one of the best things that you guys ever make. Like, I love these little speeders for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh yeah, these and the rail bonders
Yeah.
y'all just came
Wow.
out with
Yeah,
that are
Yep.
now shipping right now. I've had a
Yep.
chance to look at them. My God, the fact that you can have command control in such a little like thing like that is so fun. It's such a great selling point because it's cool if you have conventional, but the fact that you can do command control on something like that is so novel and fun. It's great selling point on those things.
Yeah, the one that always blows my mind is the little die-cast metal track inspection car they made maybe like 10 years ago. That was so small, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
how did they get command control in this thing? But I love these things. And one thing I tell people is that, you know, one reason I like these little motorized units where there's the speeder or the ballast tamper or the trackmobile is that they're collectible. They're an affordable collectible. Not everybody can afford to collect a bunch of big boys or anything, but these are something you can say, hey, I'm going to try to get as many of as many road names as I can, and have a little collection of these going. So they're a lot of fun for that, at least for me, at least.
absolutely. Yeah, no, and a lot of the cool things too is like with these schemes. I mean, you would see these a lot of the time. Track crews would dress their speeders up in schemes just like this based on their real roads. So it's totally something realistic you can have in there. And like you said, I mean, also displayability. I mean, like for something like you Eric, with all your shelves and everything. I mean, these look great having 5 or 6 of these lined up on a shelf is so cool to see. So, and then we got the gorgeous passenger cars here you guys are offering to go with your FT diesels.
Yeah, I do want to note the new tooling on this page here. We are doing the full Vista Dome, and the first hit out on that will be for the Santa Fe, with to add on to your Santa Fe Super Chief sets. We've had the Vista Dome coach for quite some time, but we hadn't done the full Vista Dome in this line. So to be able to do that and be able to add that into your existing Santa Fe contests was really important to us, and I expect that you'll see a lot of other road names on the full Vista Dome car in catalog cycles to come. All of these coaches here, whether it be the Lionel lines, Pennsylvania, or the UP ones, as well as you'll see some in the theme sections as well. They're all going to be lighted with the exception of the baggage coaches, but we wanted to just give a lot of variety for those who were picking up the separate sale pieces and wanted to add on as much as they could.
Are the soft molded diaphragms new for those too? I don't remember if those had those or not, or the smaller 15-inch cars or 13-inch cars.
No, those aren't new. Those are already included.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that new full Vista Dome, maybe after the run of the Texas Special, you guys could do a traditional scale Hiawatha set, since that car is a huge part of Milwaukee road history. Just a suggestion on there. You got the E6s in there. Might be a cool next run, but yeah, just so much diversity on these cars. I love those Penzies. Those are such a cool kind of reserved look for those cars that hasn't really been done before, I think, in traditional scale, with the just the Penzi on the car like that.
Yeah, very very classic, but just inspired by Pennsylvania. Obviously there's a lot of collectors for the PA road names, so for them to be able to grab these passenger coaches and put them behind whatever they'd like, there's no shortage of Pennsylvania locomotives out there. To be able to add these to them is going to be really easy for them to do.
All right, and then getting into more of our licensed stuff. Again, you guys got the Warner Brothers license as well. Another big anniversary there. They're going on still with, and then looks like you're giving our Potter fans a ton of new product here.
Yeah, we have definitely increased the amount of Harry Potter products in the line because people were just asking for them, and we had to deliver. We'd been doing the passenger coaches for quite some time. We were able to add on a couple catalogs ago. We were able to add on the passenger coaches in the Hogwarts houses, and we wanted to be able to add some freight cars with some fun, memorable moments from all of the different movies. This will kick off a series starting with the first 3 movies, Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. And again, just taking those key memorable moments from those movies and highlighting them on the car. I think these are going to be a big hit. I think everyone has their own favorite moments from the movies, and we tried to grab as much as we possibly could in detail on these cars.
I absolutely love these cars. I have the Hogwarts Express, and then I did get all of the house cars as well when they came out. And I'm very excited. I am a huge Harry Potter nerd. My library is all done up in Harry Potter, so I foresee having to add some shelves to display these box cars because these are beautiful. You guys did an amazing job on these.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. I think these were long overdue. And again, people have been asking for them and we had to deliver. Working with the WB team they've been really gracious in allowing us to do some really fun things with these. I'm excited to do the Dementor's Aquarium car and have that motion going through the car. They'll all float through it as it goes. Um, Again, just really fun add-on pieces that we haven't been able to do in previous catalogs. So to be able to expand upon this line is really exciting for us.
Definitely, and I'm very excited to hear that there's going to be more of the movies featured on these as well. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm with you, Peachy. That house car idea, man, that was a cool idea. Everybody being able, like, you got every single one, or being able to get the one that you most associate with. That was such a cool idea. That was a really, really cool idea. And this stuff looks like it's continuing the trend. I mean, anytime you can make a collectible line, that's always a good opportunity.
Yeah, and not only are they fans of the movie, but they're clearly fans of the train itself. And I want to make sure Cori gives a little love to the music cars on this page as well.
Yeah, so it's interesting because when we first started creating Harry Potter product, it really was centered around the Hogwarts Express, and so being really resilient and going back and forth with your licensing team and saying like, hey, we really want to show this series some love. As Peachy was mentioning, the black body cars there on the bottom right, they're really central focused on the train. So maybe you're not so much into the movies and you're really into the train. It's a great way to celebrate and collect.
Oh yeah, I mean the fact that you guys had originally tooled up a completely new thing of a British locomotive, I mean that shows the commitment to the franchise right there. So absolutely. Let's see what else we got. Oh, then we got the continue with the WB, got the superhero stuff. This has some of the funniest gags of anything I've seen in the superhero line. I love the Man of Steel car. That is so funny.
These are really fun to do. This year is the 85th anniversary of Batman, so we had to have some fun there. How could we not have a bat signal on the Searchlight caboose? This has the exclusive Batman 85th anniversary branding for 2024. We have the Dark Knight ET44 with everything you see there in the green glows in the dark. We wanted to keep the deco very simple for Batman. He's reserved. He's the mysterious man, and you got to really have that Dark Knight theme on there, and having fun with glow in the dark. This engine's going to be a really cool one to see on a layout.
The bat signal car, or caboose, I should say. That's like next level. That is the best. That is like one of my favorite things in this entire catalog. I'm a huge Batman fan, so like having like a car like with the bat signal on it. Well, that actually. So I'm curious. I know it lights up and it has a shape in it, but like if you put that against the wall, and I don't know if you guys have any like working or production models, but if you put that against like a wall or something, will it actually like show like the bat signal?
I think you'd have to get really close to the wall.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to project that far.
Not that I need to call like Batman or anything, but I was just curious.
I mean, you might.
Matt, if you don't mind, I can interject on that. They did do the TV show Searchlight car a few years ago. I actually owned that, and I still do. That one you could shine up on the wall, and if you got the placement right, you could get a very faint bat signal.
Awesome.
Going. So
that's cool.
And if that one rotates back and forth, then
it is manually rotating,
that bat
so
signal
you will be able to move it
in
in whatever placement you want. That's awesome that it.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, that's
Even
awesome that
even
it
if you have like
projected
a
that
layout
well.
and you like shine it against like a
Yeah.
barn or something, like, right? That'd be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I definitely think you'll probably get some level of that. That's really cool to hear that it actually did shine that far.
Oh yeah, as a just a straight up customer review, that one, and also I can just test because I have one very specific Batman fan who is very close to me who loves the stuff. Um, a lot of Batman collectors who didn't even collect Trainz said that flat car that y'all did was one of the best Batman collectibles that had ever been done because it was so like nice and reserved, just with the Gotham Police and the actual Bat logo from the TV show. A lot of them were saying that was one of the best collectibles that they'd ever seen done for the TV show. So the fact that you guys are continuing with this, you would not been people were clamoring for that bat signal car. So the fact that you guys are doing another one for the anniversary, that should be a very, very good seller for you guys.
Good. I'm glad to hear it, and I think that WB hit it out of the park with the branding for this year. It looks really cool.
Yes,
Yeah, these
absolutely.
cars are awesome. I do have one question from one of my followers that were asking about a Marvel license, if that's something that's going to be coming since you guys are licensed with Disney.
It's always a possibility. I'm not quite sure if that's something that we're going to do right now. That all just depends on how it goes through our licensing partners.
And to add to that, just a moment is the way Marvel's typically structured. Their IPs are very like broken apart. So whenever we enter into any sort of agreement with a licensor, we always have to keep in mind, what properties will be the most popular, the most well received, and then, do a contract based on that. So not to overcomplicate a simple question, but it can become complicated with Marvel, but hoping to get there.
Awesome.
Definitely.
I'm still waiting for Star Wars, so I'm waiting. I'm gonna complain about it every catalog show because apparently somehow that works. So
listen, I'm a Star Wars girl, so the calls are coming from inside the house as well. So.
I gotcha. Thank you.
I have to imagine
it works great on the Star Trek set.
The Force is.
I have to imagine the licensing for Star Wars is probably not easy.
Indeed.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's a good opportunity to continue talking about Disney because on the next page here we do have some Disney items. Disney and Thomas Kincaid with the beautiful art there. This is the first time that we've partnered with the dual licensing on the Thomas Kincaid and Disney items, but these beautiful paintings lend themselves really well to the side of our box cars, and I think they're going to do really well.
And then just to jump in on the Angela Trotta Thomas new paintings and such, again, you're seeing, going back to the prairie that we're tooling up, this is a way that Angela wanted to honor that new piece, which I think it looks really amazing. And she always seems to create art that just gets you right in the feels, which I appreciate and just takes you back to those memories that are special and nostalgic.
Oh, definitely. It's so evocative of the old catalogs. I mean, that one with the flag and the F units. I mean, we have a buddy of ours, don't we, Sid? Our guy, Steve. He has the Berkshire with the flag and the baseball mitt prominently right in his foyer. So
I love that.
The fact that you guys are doing that is awesome.
Yeah, she makes such beautiful art. And she was we had her on the show last year, I believe, or the year before. I don't remember. Matt, you can correct me, but she's a joy to talk to as well. She's so sweet, and just talking to her about what inspires her to make art and make these beautiful pieces is just really incredible.
Yeah, I don't remember the year, but no, that was a really fun episode, and I've always admired her work on these boxcars and just her work in general, and just thought, man, fantastic! So another home run. Beautiful cars.
Angela is absolutely
those should do quite well.
Great to work with, and like you said, she's just got such a passion for it, and she's really great to collaborate with.
And speaking of great collaborations, oh my God, the Barbie stuff. and the Bob Ross. So much was talked about on these pieces. Let's hear about them.
Oh my goodness. So we had a lot of requests. Barbie had a big year last year with the release of the movie, and we started getting inundated with people saying, "Well, are you guys going to do anything, Barbie?" And yes, we are. Barbie's actually celebrating her 65th year. Um, we wanted to make sure that the Barbies that we highlighted were really those throwback vintage Barbies. So you got the 60s, coming out with the 1959 boxcar, which is really the iconic, the first Barbie in her black and white swimsuit. But then, highlighting those special years, having the 1960s with the vintage Barbies on there, and the 1970s, which is probably my absolute favorite piece in this whole entire catalog, just in terms of deco. But yeah, it was heavily asked for, and we hope that everyone enjoys them. Whether you're a fan of Barbie or know someone who's a fan of Barbie, these cars are exciting.
Yeah, that white one is so just visually like shocking in such a good way. It just jumps off the page at you. And yeah, we got to talk about the Bob Ross water tower. Oh my gosh. It's so inspired.
Yeah, Ryan Kunkle came out of his office one day and said, "Hey, if we're going to do this with Bob Ross, we have to have fun with the afro, and I think that the water tower would be the most appropriate place for it." The Bob Ross team is so amazing and fun to work with that they're like, "Yeah, go for it. Absolutely." Like, they want to have fun with these items, and how can you not have fun when looking at that water tower?
So I love it. It's so funny. People were talking about that one endlessly too. Just what a great idea. Who would have thought Bob Ross and Trainz would work well?
These two pages are like the most incredibly diverse pages like in this catalog. Like I know we're looking at it digitally, but like imagine like in the actual catalog, you like turn to this page and you're like, oh, Barbie and Wizard of Oz, and now we have Bob Ross. Like it's awesome. It's awesome.
I think we always try to be super intentional with, iconic things meeting iconic things. The Wizard of Oz is an iconic movie celebrating 85 years. So the fact that we're able to do that and put that illuminated boxcar to use, lighten up the ruby red slippers, or, celebrating Bob Ross, who is just an iconic man and an inspiration for so many people, to marry that with the Lionel Trainz is an honor to be able to celebrate all these different IPs.
I absolutely love the idea of the Bob Ross Art Gallery. I think that is a very good touch, and yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, I like that too. That's awesome.
And we got, of course, even though he's not here, we got to talk about the Mr. Rogers for Johnny, just because, oh my gosh, what a great collaborative idea.
Yeah, this was a really fun one to do, and I think everyone in the office, when we started talking about Mr. Rogers, it just got everyone in the feels, like Cori said. Everyone has such fond memories of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood in one way or another. So getting to do these pieces, and again, this is just the start of the partnership with the Mr. Rogers team. So we have the soundbox car. It's going to have those iconic quotes and that and love of Mr. Rogers' voice. Everyone remembers that Mr. Rogers fed his fish in every episode. So having that aquarium car and being able to have his fish go around the aquarium as it goes down the track, that we had to, of course, do that. And Cori can talk a little bit about the Fred Rogers boxcar celebrating the man.
Yeah, definitely. So we wanted to do this with Bob Ross as well, but just take a moment to celebrate the person of Fred Rogers, because you feel some responsibility to honor a legacy such as his appropriately, and given there's also this connection to Trainz, it's not only feel good, but it's the beautiful combination for us as Lionel to come in and do this. So you're going to see his trolley there on one panel, and sitting in a train car on the other in Pittsburgh, and even some of those quotes that he said himself. So just a privilege to celebrate him.
Yeah, kudos to Lionel for for just doing a tribute to Mr. Rogers, who is probably one of the most incredible human beings to ever walk this earth. In my book, I mean, I grew up with Mr. Rogers. I'm at that age level, so yeah, these are awesome.
Yeah, the same here, and I know some of the. It's weird to talk about a trolley and think rivet counter, but I know some people really want a very specific trolley. But is there a chance that you will ever take a bump and go trolley and put the deco of Mr. Rogers trolley on it?
I think I will just wink at you guys really hard digitally and leave it at that.
I knew it was. Yeah, no, we were all talking about it, weren't we? We were like, oh, they're gonna do the trolley. They have to do the trolley at some point. That is so exciting to hear. And yeah, no, giving us some love with our car collectors, the Ford and the Chevy cranes there. That Ford crane is such a cool piece. I love that. I'm not even a Ford guy, and the Ford crane looks great.
It's always fun to see the orders come in on these year over year, because we always offer Chevy and Ford. So seeing like, oh, this year's for the Chevy guys or this year's for the Ford guys. So these go great with all the other pieces that we've created for these brands, and we'll continue to offer pieces.
We got our ever beloved beer. All the beer offerings, as always.
Yeah, we have 2 scale pieces. Same type of reefers that were shown earlier in the catalog, with the great AB art on it. Got a blinking water tower. We of course have to have our reefer cars year over year. This year the reefer features the Clydesdales in a holiday theme, so I think that one's gonna hit really well. And then for the first time in the Budweiser series, we're doing an illuminated bar sign reefer. So the idea is that the Budweiser sign on the far right of the boxcar will kind of give that like neon glow effect of it, as if you were, sitting in a bar and had that neon above your head.
That's really cool. I love that you guys are doing stuff with the illuminated cars. And it's cool seeing you guys do the malt nutrient on the scale car, because I think way back when you guys ran a traditional scale malt nutrient car that turned into like a really weird sleeper collectible, where the car was like really crazy priced on the secondhand market. It was a really desirable car. So it's cool to see that scheme back. I bet a bunch of people will be picking that up just for that reason. Some little Lionel history.
Maybe this is another wink, but is there a chance to see a Busch Light car?
I think we'd love to expand the license, but not anything that I can share at this time.
Alrighty, and then our Wings of Angels. Everybody loves this one. This we know, guys. We know Carmine, of course, is going to be all of the Wings of Angels. But yeah, let's check out some of the military stuff we got here.
Yeah, so on the left there with Wings of Angels, I mean, if you've been a collector since 2019 of these cars, then you're going to have a really sharp collection. And we have that nice roof print on top just as an added feature. But, our artist in-house, I got to give credit to Steve Davis. He just really nails the look and feel and has an appreciation for everything World War II in history. So love how these came out, and I hope the collectors will be very proud to add these to their collection.
And the fact that you continue to like do the top print as well, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, those are definitely some lookers in terms of cars. The paint quality on those always is really, in any of the ones I've seen, the quality and that, like, the texture of the paint is so unlike anything else that you get to see. So those are some really neat cars. And then you got some very traditional reserve pieces as well with the Sherman tank there. At least, oh god, I hope it's a Sherman tank for my sake with Johnny. Please, Johnny, if I got the tank wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, those are some seriously good looking cars.
Yeah, we do have the Sherman tank there. That we actually did do that tank. I think it was back in 2019 in another Army set. So this load has been used before, and I was excited to bring it back. The colors on this one will match the last Army set we did back in 2022. Wanted to add some really simple pieces that people could add on to their set, or with the separate sale locomotives that we're offering for 2024, whether it be, the diesel loco or the Steam logo, we wanted to make sure that people had some opportunities to pick up some pieces to complement those.
Yeah, those are some really good looking pieces. And it's great to see some just regular traditional rolling stock in the catalog too.
Yeah, absolutely. Had to hit a bunch of different road names, whether you model Western or Eastern. There's something for everyone on these 2 pages.
Giving our Anthracite Road friends a lot of love. I love that Susie Q car. That's such a cool road name. And then the graffiti stuff too, keeping it going because you guys did the set a few years ago. So this is some add-on stuff for that, isn't it?
Yeah, we just did the Dash 8 set that released a little bit earlier in the year. The graffiti is doing really well for us, so we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to continue to add on or throw these pieces on where they'd like to. And, shout out again to our amazing artists on the creative team who always come up with some really fun and unique pieces of graffiti to add on there.
Definitely. Then we got this interesting American history section with Love and Seeing the East Broad Top Love right there. It's great getting the word about them out. That's a great project. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the American history section here.
Sure. So yeah, you mentioned East Broad Top, 150th anniversary. We're actually going to be updating some of the images and the logo on this car here shortly to enhance it. So these are actually going to get even cooler. And if you're a fan of narrow gauge railroads, then this one really sticks out to you because it's such a treasured railroad. Additionally, we have the 75th birthday of the California Zephyr, so that as the original logo that you see on this train car. And we have the 250th anniversary of the First Continental Congress. This is all leading up to 2026 when we're going to celebrate America's 250th birthday, so super exciting. And we just love to add little details on the cars to help with the richness of the history. And I think this is a lot like the Wings of Angels and other series where just people who are history buffs are just going to want them.
Definitely. That car looks like it would go great with the presidential set as well. Like that'd be a cool add-on if people want to add some more stuff.
For sure, very cool idea.
And then the Halloween, everyone's favorite. This stuff has exploded in popularity recently. Oh my gosh! I mean, let's hear about some of the scale offerings. What do we got?
Yeah, I'll kick it back off. I mean, I got tired of letting Meghan have all the fun on this, but she still has to approve everything that I do because she's the queen of Halloween at Lionel for sure. And so we did the triplex, and of course the F-19 last year, the last catalog, which was a huge success, and people were clamoring for stuff to go behind it. So we did the wood coaches with the glow in the dark effect for the Erie Limited, and I think when you look on these, the amount of detail that the creative team packed into these is really cool. There's so much filigree, but of course it's got like a spider web motif and everything. It has a great old school haunted look to it. We're not going to put the figures in these cars. It didn't seem right to have 3-dimensional souls in our ghost train, so you'll see silhouettes of departed guests in the windows, which I think is just another nice touch. And then also, of course, the Erie caboose, which will go great with the triplex or other things. And this also has that great glow in the dark multicolor effect on there. And it's a full vision featured caboose. So we figured with the added cost of the glow in the dark and the fact that you were probably going to pair it with a vision engine, you would want the vision caboose, right? So we put all the features in there. Dr. Acula's blood tonic is an idea that I stole directly from Meghan and one of her traditional cars a couple of years ago, and just liked it and said, well, that's gonna happen here for the scale guys too in the milk car. So really fun piece. You got the bats flying on the roof and whatnot. There's just so many little details in these cars that make them unique and fun, and I think that's part of their charm.
I know Greg is really excited for the milk car. So if you're listening, Greg,
Yes,
here
he
you go.
is. It's such a great pun too. That's such a classic thing. And the fact that y'all chose the Woodside cars and the new tooling to do the Halloween, I mean, that's brilliant. Gothic looking cars like that. That paint scheme looks so good on those. That was a perfect choice for that.
Yeah, they would also go great with the Camelback that we did a couple years ago, which was also really popular. I think these would look really sharp behind that.
And just the railroad puns too is fantastic. Transylvania, Erie. I love it. We got some traditional scale love as well.
Yeah, we've done the ELX scheme in quite a few different road names or lines here, but we've added the Twilight line on it to the passenger route basically. Um, I really had fun doing these. This will have like a really cool special finish almost to it. It'll be like a glossy black locomotive with the passenger cars. Um, the level of detail on here, it's kind of understated, which makes it like super classy, but I am having so much fun with playing with different lights and glow in the dark, and we try to make sure that anything that we do with these Halloween schemes will mix and match to other things that we've done in years prior. So whether it be, all the orange is the same similar colors as what we've done on other ones, or the purple is the same purple that we've used, whether on accessories or different locomotives. Um, these ones are really cool this year, and I'm excited to have the Twilight route featured. What's special about the coaches for these is that they'll all have the cool purple light in them rather than the standard warm white LEDs.
Who do we know that likes purple? I'm trying to think.
Yes. Will the Twilight route have the same wolf howl whistle as the Transylvania Railroad?
We haven't chosen a sound set yet, but it's very likely that it will. We put together a script with Tracy. We try not to always use re-existing sounds, but if it's a fan favorite, we can certainly consider putting that one in there again.
Very cool. Yeah, seriously, I love the sound in that engine. So if any of it overlaps, then I'm gonna be in trouble.
Noted.
And you get the wolf right on there too.
Yes. It only makes sense for the paint scheme, right?
Yeah, these are so cool. We know there's so many people who love this kind of stuff and do Halloween layouts, like entire Halloween villages. So, the diversity with the cars is so cool.
The response that we've gotten to the Halloween line in the last few years has been so absolutely wonderful. We always say, like, what better excuse to get your train layout out just a few months earlier. If you're, planning on putting your Christmas layout out, why not just start a few months earlier and just do Halloween first, and then you can transition over. But thanks to all you guys and the love that it's receiving, I'm having an absolute blast doing them.
That's great to hear. I'm glad people are giving you good feedback.
And just to jump in for a moment on the, so if you enjoyed the Trippy Trolley, for example, just to note here that this trolley will have a strobe flickering light effect. It'll have interior illumination, underside illumination. It's really going to be like that fun sort of Halloween party effect. Because we've done Halloween trolleys before, a bit darker, and this is a bit more playful, but still cohesive with the rest of the offering that Megan just described.
Oh, that's going to be sweet. I got the Trippy trolley, and I love that thing. If you guys ever did a Christmas trolley like that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that thing sold so well. That was a great piece.
Yeah, keeping up with the glow-in-the-dark theme, had to have glow-in-the-dark water tower with the fun, playful decoration on there with the jack-o'-lantern faces. We're really having fun with the glow-in-the-dark theme this year, but it just makes sense in the Halloween line to have all the things glow. And then I have to call out on this page the Ichabod crane car. I don't know how we hadn't hit that pun yet, but
it's really good.
I'm so glad that we're doing it because it looks so cool. Creative team had a really good time coming up with the different logos and the different things that we could add to this car.
I love that y'all did that. I'm so mad that you did because I wanted to do an Ichabod crane like just as a scale piece with like a nameplate. I love that y'all thought of that. It's so funny and also just a pretty car too. That's such a cool piece with it's almost kind of Beetlejuice-ish with the stripes like that.
Yeah, it's super fun, and considering this is just an 8-inch car, it's still got so much detail on it, and the striping, it's really going to come out really awesome.
You know, you can pair a headless horse car with the Ichabod crane car. So,
Oh my god.
I'm taking
Oh
notes.
my
guys, I'm
gosh.
telling you.
Oh, you're fired.
I like all this stuff. I like all the tongue in cheek kind of stuff. This is really
This
cool.
is
Hard 'cause I
this is
didn't-
the real reason we
I
all
didn't think
do
of it
these.
first.
Is you guys are just giving us our ideas for the next
Pretty
couple of
idea,
dialogues.
right?
Keep got the research right.
Hey, it's a win-win. Oh man, that's hilarious. And the Freightliner, and then the great painting on the side of that. That's very Ichabodish too, with the steam engine and the
Listen, this is
the
this is the
jack-o'-lanterns there.
first time that Angela Trotta Thomas is getting in on the Halloween fun. I am so excited that she was able to do this really fun painting for us for the Halloween covered bridge. Her and I were talking, and she's like so excited. She's like, "What can we do? What can we do different that we haven't done before?" She's like, "Let's get in on the Halloween action." And she did just such a great job painting this painting, and I am so excited to be bringing it out this year.
Enjoying this week's topic? You can join in on the conversation too on our community Discord server. We have a lot of different discussion channels, ranging from showing off your collection, discussing the latest and greatest in the industry, a buy and sell forum, and even a voice channel you can hop on call and talk Trainz with us late into the night. We're a little over 300 strong, and we'll love to have you join us too. Check out the invite link to our community Discord down in the show notes. Read and acknowledge the rules, and introduce yourself and start chatting. We have a great team of moderators who make sure all are welcomed and respected. So what are you waiting for? Come on down and join us in on the fun, and let's talk some Trainz.
Yeah, those are really, really cool pieces. And then, oh boy, we got our Christmas stuff. And I mean, come on, the literal poster child on the front of the catalog, the
The
Polar.
moment we've all been waiting for.
It's no secret we were gonna go polar, and we were gonna go big, and I think we've done that in this catalog. We've probably had requests for polar. Let's see, we last ran about 2019, 2020. So starting about the end of 2020, 2021, we were getting requests for more polar Burks again. And so we've rerun the traditional black one, which I'm sure will be our best seller. But we always like to do something special on the anniversaries. So we've done the I guess you would call it maroon or burgundy that matches the stripe in the center of the cars, and that'll be available separately, but also as part of the set. The set has the locomotive, a really cool combine that sort of ties that locomotive back into the rest of the train. Then the 20th anniversary coach. And then I think what a lot of people are really excited about is the newly tooled observation car. So if you're looking at the observation and the coach and the locomotive, well, you might as well spring for the set. But other than the combine, those are also all the same that are available separately. I know some people had asked, is the locomotive the same in the set as separate sale? And they are. We just wanted to give you some different options on that. And then, of course, we're bringing back a reissue of all of the traditional Polar Express 18-inch passenger cars for those who haven't started the collection yet or are new coming into it. And we've got the really cool 20th anniversary boxcar and sound boxcar in O gauge or O scale, as well as some of the other gauges. And that just came out of our art team giving us two options and us not being able to decide which one we liked better. So we said, how can we do this? Well, it's Polar, so we know we can probably sell them both. Let's make one conventional and one with sound, and that'll have the bell sound in there. So some really fun scale pieces, a recoming of the well-loved history there, and then carried on right down through the line with Meghan and Cori's products.
So there's probably a lot of questions from the Discord, but I have two questions on the scale based, mainly the bark itself. I wouldn't really call myself a connoisseur, but I studied the movie quite a bit because I custom made my own kind of movie accurate per se Polar Express Burke out of a scale one. I used an old MTH one since I did not want to destroy a perfectly good Lionel model or really any good model. I don't want to use something that was kind of cherished by people. And So I know a lot of the so-called movie accurate things that people are looking for, and um, some people have asked me about the Lionel one, and I know there's probably agreements with licensing on the way the lettering can be and the color of it. Um, but has there ever been thought of not having the number on the cab and the number boards and just having it be blank? The tender could be still say, Polar Express. Um, but has there ever been a thought to get rid of the numbering, since in the movie it doesn't have the numbering?
It's certainly a thought and an idea. Honestly, no one had ever brought that to me before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the funny thing about the movie is that depending on what frame you're at at what
Yeah.
point in the movie, you see a lot of things that are inconsistent from one point to the
Yes.
next.
Yes.
Yes,
So
indeed.
it's definitely something we would consider doing. There are obviously licensor things, especially around the lettering and the
Yeah.
marks, but they give us a pretty good amount of leeway. And if we can show to where we're being more faithful to the movie,
Yeah.
then it's kind of hard for them to argue against it.
Yeah.
But we definitely went through that when we switched over to, well, do we put snow on the roof of the cars or not? Right. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes there's snow, sometimes there's not.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons too that with the observation, we've gone back and offered that again in the original version
Yeah.
for those who have the older train and can still upgrade
Mhm.
that observation car. Because if there was a glaring sore spot in the scales trains, it was
Mhm.
definitely that
Yeah.
observation.
And that is really nice that you guys are still keeping up with the original set, where you can
Mhm.
allow people to upgrade their car like that. That's very very good customer attention and care in that respect. And yes, Sid, to your point, people have definitely asked about, I mean, I think the biggest thing with those Burks, I mean, they're fantastic engines, but the flying number boards, like
Yeah.
you said, is one of the
That.
biggest requested things. And it seems like it could be easily done on one of the engines, where I don't think that would affect licensing at all, but I could be wrong. So
Yeah.
if
Mhm.
that's ever possible down the road, that would be a very cool thing to see.
Yeah. They. When I did mine, I got a lot of. It's one of my more, I guess, known things I've done just beyond O scale. I had a lot of people from HO talking with me about it, and I've seen some people who were inspired and did it in other scales, and so I can tell. Yeah, as we all know, the Polar Express is a very beloved movie, and just in general. But another question I have, that I put Lionel Electronics into mine. I'm a big Lionel fan, and I love the Burke, so I put Legacy into mine, even though it originally was not a Lionel product. Uh, but something I was always told that was wrong, which is, I guess, true, is the whistle in mine is the same as the one that has been traditionally in uh, the 1225. It's that 1225 whistle, but I guess in the movie they used Sierra number 3, is what I've been told over and over again. Is there any chance that that would be recorded and put into the new model?
If we can get a good recording, I'd be more than happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, I think Sid specifically, it's not just, I mean, it is Sierra number 3's whistle. But if you do need a recording of it, I believe it is specifically a Lima Shea 5 chime is the exact whistle, because I know people are panicking about that.
They very much
brand,
are.
yes, or even just a regular Lima 5 chime. But that is the specific whistle. I know there's recordings of it out there somewhere. So, yeah, people would definitely. That's like the number. Sid, I mean, you've seen your comment section.
That
That's
is
the
the
number one thing
number
everybody
one
says,
comment.
right?
Everyone's like, it looks like they've been talking about mine. I recessed the headlight, and I have the pilot and the no number boards and the letterings just only on the tender, and everyone's like, it looks fantastic, but where's the whistle? And that was just a comment I kept getting over and over again. And I would imagine that if that was in this new run, people would be very happy, and it would probably make the model even more valuable and cherished by people who own it. But in general, it's very cool to see all the products, and that it's evolving with the custom runs and the new observation car. It's very cool to see all of this.
Might be a good thing for like a future run outside of the anniversary, because obviously the anniversary stuff, you want to focus on that. Like to do like one specific run of just like a really movie accurate engine would be really cool to see, with like nothing else, just the one engine. But yeah, those colored ones too, with the blue and the maroon. I've seen several people talking where they're ordering both. Like that's such a cool idea to do the two different color schemes. I would have never thought to do that.
I
love those.
They're cool.
Yeah, the plasma finish on the blue one is really going to be special. It sort of color shifts between the two colors as depending on the angle that you look at. There's no great way to illustrate that, but if anyone has seen pictures of the Locomotive of the Year of the Dreyfus that we did last year, the colors are different, but the effect is very much the same. So you have that really beautiful shine, and then it sort of changes color as you move it about. And the colors in this case will just be a much closer hue to the lighter blue and burgundy of the polar, but really going to be a beautiful piece.
Is there going to be like a video of that by chance, like when it comes out? Or
Yeah,
the
I'm sure once we
asking,
have it on a full locomotive to do it some justice, we'll definitely be taking pictures and video.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to take this time to announce the winner of the Miniature Models Podcast Discord server holiday photo contest. The photo contest winner is the Magical Christmas Train. I guess that name is quite fitting here. We did love all of the submissions this year, and it was a difficult choice in the end to pick a winner. I will be in touch with the Magical Christmas Train via direct message in Discord, and I will ship out your box of O-scale goodies over the next few weeks. But stay tuned, folks, for more contests in the future. And now back to the catalog show.
I got a couple general ones here, not anything really specific, but the one question is asking, why have you guys done away with the volume control on legacy engines?
You still have volume control through the cab 2, and through the systems. You can still go in there on your cab and adjust the volume control that way.
I think it was asking getting rid of the physical volume pot.
Yeah, the volume pot. Again, just because we had the functionality in the boards, and there were some other electronics changes, and engineering saw an opportunity there to. It made, by getting rid of that, it made some other changes much easier that allow for better functionality, and that's the way we went with it. Because we knew you didn't really lose the ability overall. You could still turn on your cab 2, or for that matter, open up on the Bluetooth now. Open up the Lion Chief app, even if you don't have Legacy. Just download that app for free. Go in there, adjust the volumes on your phone, and then it saves those settings when you go back to normal operation.
Gotcha, cool.
As a bit of a tech person, the having a volume pod is handy. However, it can also cause, not that this would be a frequent thing, but there can be interference that is caused by volume pots. If you have any older products, you will know it. Like if you put your hand near a volume pot on like an older model, it'll kind of make some static, and it's a metal shell with like metal wheels and everything, and you have all this metal around a thing that can have interference. You could have some issues with audio. So as a from a technical standpoint, I don't really see it as like an issue removing it. I know why people might like it as a convenience thing, but I've seen that question as well, Matt, quite a bit. But I think it's more of it's not truly needed from a usability standpoint, and in the technical side of things, it's kind of improving things.
Gotcha. Yeah. It was just a question on the Discord, so I figured I'd ask it. And then one more I have is, could you talk about the process for selecting colors on the production runs, and what methods would you guys use to ensure that the color matches what is shown in the artwork for the renders?
Yeah. Do we have another 3 hours?
Yeah.
That's a show. That's a show by itself, right?
Yeah.
Brunswick green. What?
Brunswick green.
It's a varied process, and it doesn't really even end when the catalog comes out. We're still going back and forth on some colors right now. What you see in the catalog varies for a lot of reasons from what you're going to see in production, even on the colors that people would say we got right. And that's because colors appear different when they're on a printed page versus a digital catalog versus a plastic or metal 3-dimensional model. Paint and ink and pixels are all very different. So in some cases, for example, on steam locomotives, we will typically lighten up certain areas or certain colors, dark colors, blacks, to help bring out details. Because if you show it all in a true matte black, it just looks like a giant black blob on the printed page, right? Uh, our DGLE Brunswick Green is another good example there, where we will always show it in the catalog a little lighter than we hope to get it on the final model. Now, that obviously is a color that had shifted over the past few years to something that was too green. And through the help of some customers and friends reaching out and saying, hey, we've got some ideas here on how to bring this back in, we dialed it back. And if you saw the last run of I1s, I think you would see that, there was definitely some improvement there over the L1s that had come out just before it, going from something that was way too green to something that now better resembles a Pennsy steam locomotive, at least one that's not covered in soot. So we do try and do that. It's never a perfect process. We have color standards that we use and that our factories use, and we have matching chips. Mostly it's through the Pantone color matching system. Sometimes it's older colors. There are colors that Pantone simply does not have. Santa Fe Red is a good example. Southern Pacific Daylight Orange is another good example where we've gone to other sources to get the paint right, and we use a special paint code for that. For our polar products, since that's where we sort of brought this up, we have standardized, because we've made polar things for 20 years now in probably at least a half a dozen, if not more, different factories. So we about a year ago, 2 years ago, after some things started getting too light again there, we went through and corrected that and came up with standard color chips for the proper polar colors that have been sent to the factory, so that things should be consistent now going forward for the foreseeable future. So we do take steps. We take all suggestions, and input is welcome when it comes to color matching. There's a ton of science that goes into it, and then at the other hand, some of it's just what looks right and what feels right, because what you remember or even what you see in pictures can be very, very deceptive. So when we can work with the actual railroads, when we can work with historical societies, or when we can work with anybody who can give us an actual physical sample that we can compare against and use, that's always our best bet. So for anyone out there who has color suggestions, we're open to hearing them. For anyone out there who has color suggestions and can back them up with some hard evidence you can share, we're really interested in hearing from you, because that will help us make it better. We're always, whether it's traditional or scale, vision line or lion chief, anytime we can improve on something, we want to do it. So, and color is one of those big areas.
Gotcha. I really appreciate the answer. Thank you very much.
That's a fantastic answer. And yeah, people, like Brian said, if it's all about teamwork here. I mean, not everybody can have all the info, right? I mean, it takes a village. So, I mean, that's a
I
great
think
way of
you
putting it.
mentioned it earlier when I was talking about whistles, but what's the best way, like publicly, for people to provide feedback other than being in person with you guys at a show or something like that? Because it's easy for someone to just go on to social media and just complain, but it's unlikely, or just provide their feedback, which could be very beneficial. But I can't imagine everyone at Lionel is always looking at every single social media feed and channel. So what's probably the most kind of the best way for people to provide their feedback?
Constructive
Yes,
feedback.
constructive.
Constructive feedback, criticisms, complaints, whatever you want to send. Chocolate's always welcome. You can. The best way to reach us is through talktous@lionel.com or 1-800-4Lionel. If it's product suggestions and things like that are going to be shared through the other people, up the line to other people in the company, the email is the best way to do it. talktous@lionel.com. That sends it in through our call center and our customer service team, and they will forward it on to whoever needs to get it. And trust me, Megan, Cori, and I get those suggestions and things passed to us daily, and we'll respond. either back through the customer service channel or directly, depending on the nature of things. And yes, the more meat you can put behind the suggestion to help us guide us towards a better answer, not the paint's just wrong. That doesn't help me.
Yeah.
The paint
Yeah.
is too light, helps me a little bit more.
Yeah.
You should use, the original was this DuPont color. All right, I probably may or may not be able to get the DuPont color codes, but now I have something to at least start looking at. You did it right on this product number 20 years ago, and here's the product number. Well, okay, again, I might not have that in front of me, but you're giving me something I can go to as a reference or go and look for in an art file and see what we did. So the more specific you can give us to help, the quicker and better we can get to an answer on those things and to making changes. We're always welcome to hear that. With whistles and sounds, yes, there's a ton of stuff on YouTube, and we can go and we can listen to that, and we can try and get something that sounds close. But the way that, especially with a legacy recording, we have to record that a little bit differently because you have the quilling effect. So we record a whistle at 3 different pitches for a few seconds. So it takes a while when we go to a railroad and say, okay, we want to record the whistle. They go, oh yeah, we can play it and do what we don't want that. I want 8 seconds at the lowest tone you can get me, and 8 seconds at sort of a mid tone, and once they realize what we're doing with it, then we can get that, and then we can blend it and loop it and make that work for you. Back there. And because the idea is for you to be able to play the whistle, not have a recording of a great whistle play session. So yeah, sound sources that we can go to are great. Live sources or new recordings that we can get are really the creme de la creme there, so that we can not just get the right sound, but interpret that sound into the model. And we'll also then can play too with the speakers too, because you're using small speakers. They tend to struggle more on the lower tones versus higher tones. We're getting way into too much detail for a catalog show here, but there's a lot that we have to go that goes into then making what is right actually sound right.
Yeah.
Same thing even in paint colors. Sometimes what is right when you put it on a model looks horrible because it looks too dark or it looks too bright because you're not seeing it in scale.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there's always a little bit of subjectiveness to it. One person's Erie Lackawanna maroon that's too bright is the other person's spot on. You never know what you're gonna get. You'll never please everybody, but we want to get as close as we can, and we want to be accurate and please as many people as we can.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that they can provide feedback. So I think if some of us here spread the word that like you can straight up give them direct feedback, I think that'll help not only the products in general, but you guys, so you don't have to be worried when a product comes out. You'll maybe feel more reassurance and also, improve products, and then you'll probably sell more because people will be happy with the product. So I just wanted to ask about where people could send their feedback so that they know there is actually a place and it's not just like, oh, Lionel doesn't want to listen. No, you guys definitely do want to listen. It's just I don't think people have known that they can provide the feedback.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Please do send feedback. We like hearing the feedback, good and bad, because it all helps us, make the product better and or sleep better at night. But reach out to us directly through those channels, and we are much more likely to hear it than if you're posting it on Facebook or posting it on a train forum or sending it to my LinkedIn page, which happens. I don't read customer comments on my LinkedIn profile. So save your time, send it through Lionel.com, and that's where it's most likely to get to me in an expedient manner.
And remember, people, be civil. These are human beings that make these things, not a nameless, faceless corporation. These are human beings that work really hard to design these very complex models. So it's good to be able to talk with you guys about this kind of stuff. We appreciate you sharing these these things about how this whole industry works.
All right, back to the catalog.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. So we got some fantastic traditional scale polar stuff.
I have some questions on this. Yes.
Oh yes, Peachy, what you got for us?
So my first question, so we're on the page right now with the Lion Chief 2.0. Hold on. Yes. Because I run the Lion Chief 2.0, so it's relevant to me. But does the 20th anniversary tender, the 2.0 one, illuminate like the Lion Chief one does?
It does not. That feature is only shown within the set, the Lion Chief set.
Gotcha. And then the other question that I have is on the previous page that has the set with the passenger cars. That has the shimmer on it. Do the other coaches also have the shimmer like the set, or is that only in the set?
They do not. The separate cell pieces, we wanted to make sure that whatever level of Polar Express that you're collecting, so if you have an existing set and you want to be able to just add a 20th anniversary piece in it, that it flows really nicely. So those pieces there will not have the shimmer glitter on the burgundy striping.
Okay, gotcha. Random question, and this may be a kind of a dumb question, but is it possible to basically like switch a tender, and will it still connect and run and everything? Like if I wanted to do that, or does the engine and the tender have to go together?
I don't believe you're able to mix the LC tender with the LC2 tender.
Okay.
But I can get with Dave in engineering just to double check for you to make sure whether or not it's safe.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's actually a different drawbar.
Oh,
So the
good point, Ryan.
LC2 will have an 8-pin drawbar,
Gotcha.
and the LC will have a 4-pin drawbar. So they physically will not connect.
Gotcha.
And just a note on these add-on passenger coaches while we have them still up. On the Black Roof version, the art will be corrected for that. When we did the Black Roof versions, it has been quite some time now, the Polar Express lettering was actually above the windows on those versions. So in keeping with making sure that people that are collecting or want to add on with their existing Black Roof coaches, we will move that Polar Express lettering up above the windows for consistency.
Alrighty, well, that's a good overview of the Polar stuff. And again, I love the Doodlebug, love the Genesis, love the speeder with the snowplow. That is so fun. That is so evocative of classic Lionel stuff.
Yes, having a bit of fun there.
And then the hand cars too. What a neat take on the kind of the Mickey and Minnie thing that was released. You got the clockwork hand cars being offered.
Absolutely. Keeping in line with celebration of anniversaries, the Polar Express, another extremely special license and relationship we have with the WDB team. What better way to honor their anniversary than to come out with two hand cars here, one with a gold sort of special finish, gold edition, and another in that classic polar burgundy color. It's going to have all new tooled figures. It's going to come with the track offering that you would have known if you had seen the D100 hand car. And it's also going to come with a key that is in the shape of the polar bell with a logo on each side. So a lot of fun if you're familiar with how the product worked this past year. And then below that, again, just reoffering the ice track. It was such a huge hit. If you're a fan of the movie and you love the idea of recreating that scene, we will be offering that track again.
That was a really cool idea on that. I love the creativity with the polar stuff. It's there's so much in the movie you can just take ideas off of. It's such a great thing.
I had a quick question about the speeder with the plow. I think I might get the Polar Express version here, but I was wondering if you might in the future be doing some regular road names with the plow as well.
Yeah, so given that we do have this tooling available, it totally makes sense to bring this to other speeders where, it seems right. So yeah, just keep looking for future, catalog releases where we may do that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was thinking like a Canadian Pacific or something would be really cool in that.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
I'm with you. I love that idea. I would love to get one of those in a standard road name. That's such a cool piece. And then yeah, offering Billy's house too. That's gonna be a great compliment to the Hero Boy house.
Yeah, inspired by the one in the movie. Not an exact replica, but close. And then the opportunity to do new figures is always fun for us. So had to do the new Billy figure with him holding the package up above his head that you can place on the front porch.
That's so cool. Love that. And good to see Flyer getting some love too. And then we've got the yeah, that stuff looks great. And then the oh my gosh, the Christmas Hiawatha. All the
That's so
great Christmas
cool.
sets. Got some great stuff this year.
That is probably the most incredible Christmas steam engine I've ever seen. That is just awesome. I mean, that paint scheme fits the style of that engine like so well.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be hard to top the Silver Bells Express that we had done a year ago now, last year. But we've had a lot of great comments on this one, both the locomotive and the matching cars. So I think it's going to be a real big hit. There is a little bit of a difference there. It's hard to see again in the catalog, but they do have sort of a white top, and then the locomotive sides are a light gray, which bounces off nicely off the silver on the wings of the locomotive there in the nose. Really fun one, and I'm looking forward to seeing these in person. And then the Milk Train, we've done Milk Train sets for New York Central in the past, so why not North Pole Central? And this is a fun little set with the 460, the milk cars, the combine. I really like the way the paint scheme turned out on that combine, so that may have to be another run of a full run of passenger cars down the road as well, along with some great add-on freight cars to go with all these great Christmas locomotives we put out over the last few years.
Had a not really a question per se, but a suggestion that a friend of a friend told me. If you want to go back to the Hiawatha real quick, John. There you go. Is to obviously it's probably too late for this run, but maybe in a future run, make an engine with Rudolph and have a red light for the headlight.
Definitely a possibility. There's actually a license for Rudolph, so that's one of the
Really?
things we have to work around. Yeah.
No kid. I did
Interesting.
not know that.
That's
See,
interesting.
there's the. Remember, we were thinking about it with the trolley for the Mr. Rogers
That's
movie.
right.
That's interesting.
No kidding.
That's fantastic.
The more you know.
Hopefully, I don't sound like I'm gushing. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. I cut
No.
you off.
I just said the more you know. That was it.
Right. I hope I don't sound like I'm gushing, but those two sets, the Milk Train and the Hiawatha, my personal opinion, two best scale Christmas sets you've ever offered in terms of looks. The fact that they're a little bit pulled back and reserved, I mean, as reserved as Christmas stuff can be, those are, yeah. And I don't even do Christmas stuff. Those are the two best scale sets you've ever offered for Christmas stuff. Even better than the Sleigh Bell. And it's great seeing the Sleigh Bell here in traditional scale for people who loved, might have really liked that set, but didn't get a chance to own the scale one. Hey, great idea doing the traditional scale one now.
Yeah, if Ryan's gonna steal Halloween things from me, I'm gonna steal Christmas stuff from him.
Hey, rightly so. All is fair,
Absolutely.
The scale sleigh bell, I said in our last show, that set was my favorite set of the year last year. Beautiful, beautiful train. Fantastic job. A+ all around.
Yeah, it is by far one of the most absolutely beautiful and stunning Christmas locomotive schemes that we've done.
All right, and you got some other great offerings here too for all the different sets here. Really leaning into the very prominent white and red this time around.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that, again, anything that we do will seamlessly go back with other things that we've done previously. Winter Wonderland has been a huge hit for us. Taking a fun new road name for us, doing Peppermint Railroad with the PRR there on the LC2 Park. Carry on the Sleigh Bell Limited scheme that we were just absolutely in love with, and bringing back the Snowflake Limited on the ET44. All these colors match seamlessly. They'll go really well with the Christmas passenger cars. They'll go well with items that we've done in previous year runs. We definitely wanted to make sure that anything that we did fit together nicely.
And it looks like it really does. I do have I remember just in my own head, Matsy, I don't know if you had this question on your thing. Any chance of more runs of the Fezziwig stuff? Because that seemed to really resonate with some of your like turn of the century collectors.
That was really a huge sleeper hit. I can let Ryan speak to it a little bit, but I would definitely like to continue to do some Fezziwig stuff. Our creative team had a really fun time coming up with all the little pieces for that. All the nods back that they were able to pack into it.
Yeah, Megan hit the nail on the head. It was a sleeper, and it was one of those didn't get a whole lot of love in the catalog. Had enough orders to go ahead and give it a shot and make it, and then once it came out and people saw it, they went nuts. So
Oh yeah,
definitely something that we will probably do more things with again down the road. But sort of took us by surprise because of how quickly it went around. So sometimes when things like that happen, it takes you another catalog cycle to catch back up again.
I
that's
love it
great
when
to
things
hear.
take you by surprise like that, though. It's so like I remember going over to Legacy and like I was going over to pick up the camel. I think it was the Camelback. Was that the Fezziwig?
Mm-hmm.
Was it the Camelback?
Yeah.
And I went over to pick up the one that I had ordered, and they had the Fezziwig on display, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like, why didn't I order one of these? This looks incredible!" Like, and I love it when that happens. When it's one of those sleepers where you just say, "Wow, why did I not get this?"
Yeah. It always delights us when things do better than expected too, because you have your hits, you have your misses, but sometimes you don't know you have the hit until it actually hits the market. So definitely glad to see that one took off, and it gives us lots of cool ideas for not just more rolling stock and things, but I'm sure accessories and other options as well.
It's just that old thing of you never know until you see it in person. It doesn't. You can see a catalog image, but until you see it in person, you just don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great to hear that was such a great thing for you guys too at Lionel. That was a good sleeper hit. And yeah, great looking Christmas cars for this year. All the Thomas Kincaid stuff. I saw you guys promoting that pretty heavily on social media and stuff. That's a really cool piece featuring one of your train sets on there.
Yeah, and for collectors who have actually purchased any of our previous Kincaid cars, this will pair very nicely. And Megan also created this really beautiful covered bridge. I'll let her speak to.
Yeah, it was really cool for Thomas Kincaid Studios to take our existing Christmas Light Express set and Thomas Kincaid it up. Um, the painting that they did came out beautifully. Uh, the covered bridge obviously is a great canvas to really blow up that photo there of the painting, and then of course having that really nice LED lighting around the roof of the covered bridge. I think both the boxcar, the covered bridge, I think they just came out so nicely. In a different sort of color scheme with the deep blues and the light blues on there, but again highlighting that Christmas Light Express set that's now become super popular year over year.
Yeah, this is just all around an amazing catalog. You guys have outdone yourselves this time. I know we probably say it every time, but man, this is a really good catalog. All right. Was there anything else you guys really wanted to touch on that we missed, or just anything else before we kind of start wrapping things up here?
I just have one kind of self-serving question. So
Hit
I
it.
kind of mentioned earlier the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 is kind of my niche of what I do. Is there plans to expand and offer kind of more in that genre a little bit more, just kind of coming in the future? That definitely is my favorite right now.
We definitely kicked it up on the Lion Chief this year. Typically on our catalog cycles, we try to offer at least one LC2 locomotive in steam and diesel. And then we've had the added bonus this year of being able to do like the doodle bugs and the different pieces there in the motorized world that kind of share back and forth. But it's a line that's ever growing, and I don't expect it to go away anytime soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good line. It's a great blending of the high end. It's kind of like a budget line master where you get those really high end sounds in the traditional scale model. So that's a really good line to continue.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anything else anybody had before we close up shop here?
Probably worth mentioning real quick in the few accessories in the back there, we are rehitting the 153 IR to make that plug, expand, play compatible. Then we've had the PEP accessories for a number of years. It's nice to be able to activate them easily without having to strip and solder any wires. But we are going to continue to support the original 153 IR as well. So for those who like to hardwire their accessories, those will still stay in the line. And then we've got a new vendor doing our streetlights. And so a lot of great varieties there. These are all new tooling here. The last page of new things in the catalog. So Megan's done a great job of working with them on getting designs and getting these all working. So I think you'll all be really happy to see how these look when they actually show up in stores. They're a nice step up over some of the older, should we say, rehashed template designs that have been in our catalog for 100 years. I think people will enjoy seeing these as something new and really fare well for the scale-sized modeler as well.
Yeah, and as we get samples of these pieces, we'll try to highlight them, whether they be on video or demos with Dave or some Facebook Lives or even events. We'll be sure to show those off so everyone can see how great they are and how easy they are to install on the layout.
Yeah, these are really nice. I saw in the back. I'm like, man, these are cool looking.
Yeah,
it's great having this.
It was about time to get some more lights into the line here. We've had like Ryan said, we've had the same street poles or street lamps for quite some time. So to add some variety of those and give people an opportunity to put something different on their layout was really exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought these up, Ryan. I'm so excited just to see just having some different stuff is so cool. Just to be able to have that variety offering, and now these are going to be really really cool looking. I can't wait to see them.
Well, after 180 pages of awesomeness, it's we end with more goodness, but it's easy to be running out of breath by this part of the catalog and want to make sure that these get their 15 minutes of fame also. I know it may have come up in some of your groups. It certainly has been a question we've heard, and that's what's going on with all these other pages at the back of the catalog. And what that really is the parts of the catalog we just haven't been printing and combining for the last few years. We've sort of winnowed out some of the active items and track and power sections, for example, items that we still had a little bit of inventory left in stock in the warehouse. A lot of that had come out of the catalog to save space, and whether you're trying to download the thing digitally, sometimes it's enough to crash your computer, or certainly when you pick this thing up in its print form, it's a hefty phone book of a catalog. But we wanted to put those back in this time just to give some love to that because they had been out for a while. The items you see in here, some of them are active items, so it shouldn't be any surprise that we still have them available. We plan to have them available. There are also a number of things that might be in pretty limited supply, but we still have a decent enough quantity in our warehouse that we wanted to remind people it was out there to go see your dealers if you missed it, because there's a good chance they have some of this in stock. And if not, we may have one or two left here in Lionel. But it's not a sign in any way that we haven't sold a lot of Trainz over the last few years. Just that there's still some stuff in that warehouse available, and if you missed it in one of the previous catalogs, hey, it's still here.
That's good to know. Yeah, the people were definitely asking about that, so it's good to see that that the stuff is doing so well.
I don't want to go on for too long, but this is something I noticed, and I was like, huh. There's the base 3 and the cab 3 section. I know that's a long awaited product that is still in development and hopefully will come soon. But I noticed there's a product number for it, but there's no price on any of the products on this page. And is that because there's a halt on orders, or is that just a printing thing, or what's the story there?
Nope, that's just a printing thing. We're still taking orders. In fact, as Dave mentioned on our live broadcast last week, we're still in the middle of ETL testing with that right now, but gearing up and getting ready to start production. We just increased our order with the factories, to be honest with you, and ordering some more parts based upon approval. Um, because the original order that we had placed was all but sold out on arrival. So we're still
Wow.
taking orders on that and have put ourselves in a position to be able to continue to take orders. And our hope is that you will see it probably early summer, just based off of where we are in the approval process. And then we have the Chinese New Year, which will slow down the production a little bit. But we're hoping that when they come back from that, we'll have approvals and can get right on rolling with getting these things built and on their way to you. Also worth noting, the website that will go along with this is also up, and you'll be able to click on that. Although it'll be getting more filled in as we get closer to the release date. So definitely some opportunities there to continue to grow this and learn about it in the background. If you are heading to any of the shows we'll be visiting over the next couple of months, we'll be having a Base 3 at these shows. Certainly at the Big E Springfield show this month, and then probably the next show will be at Denver for the Rocky Mountain Division show out there. So if you're heading to any of those places, come on by, and we'll be happy to demonstrate Base 3 and Cab 3 and everything that it does. And then these will be delivering later this year. But things are going along well. Testing took a little while, but we're getting through it, and things are looking good. There's an awful lot going on inside of this thing, so there's several different tests that we have to go through to make sure that everything is as it should be.
Very cool.
I think everybody's really excited about that, about it coming out. And every time someone asks me about it, they're like, "Oh, it got delayed. It got delayed again or whatever." And I'm like, "So?" I'm like, "I'd rather it be delayed and be done well than be rushed." So I don't care. Take as long as it takes to get it right and make it work right. And I think everybody will be okay with it. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely get that. I mean, that's such an important thing. I mean, that's running the whole layout. You got to make sure you get the R&D done on that, right? And it's good to see you guys are doing that, putting her through her paces. All right. Was that gonna? Are we finished up with the catalog? Is that? I think that's everything, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
All
much,
right.
yeah.
Man, we got through it all. That was a great catalog.
That really is a good catalog.
Holy moly.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's if everyone's asked all their questions and has gone over everything they want to go over, let's turn the key and put her to bed. All right. So time for the social media shout. Let's see here. Let's start with the Lionel folks here. Where can everybody find you all online?
Visit us at Lionel.com for all of the latest news. You can also follow us on our various social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess it is now, and Instagram, and we are, what's that other one? TikTok. We are TikToking as well. So you can follow us on any of those channels. Again, for communications and for the latest things, please reach out to us talk to us at Lionel.com if you have any comments you'd like to send in. For any other issues you may be having, whether it's service or other questions, you can also call us at 1-800-4-Lionel, and we'll be happy to work with you there. We've got a great team ready to assist any way we can.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show with us. It really means the world to us that you take time out of your schedules to talk with us about these products and answer our questions as the rabid fan base that we are. It really means a lot to us. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Without you guys, there is no us. So we appreciate you, and it's always great to get good feedback, some new product ideas, and exchange some dialogue and help get the information out there. There's so much in the catalog, but it's easy to overlook some things and miss things. So I think we all learn a little something every time we go through this.
Yes, indeed. Well, again, we really appreciate it. Eric, where can folks find you, good sir?
You can just Google Eric's Trainz and find me. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and you can fax me at Eric's Trainz.
Fantastic. Peachy, where can folks find you?
Yes. So I am Peachy's Trainz. I have YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So Peachy's Trainz on any of those platforms, and you will be able to find me.
That is fantastic. Thank you both for being with us, looking over this catalog too. I know that we went through a lot of stuff, but it's so great having you both here. You both represent such fantastic insight into the hobby, different aspects. So it's so great having you guys with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It's always a great time coming on the podcast. So thanks for inviting me, and I really enjoy hanging out with y'all and talking about trains.
Yep, same here. Always have fun, and look forward to doing it again when the Volume 2 comes out.
Yes, indeed. I'm already excited for that too. Oh man, our wonderful guest host Sid of Sid's Trainz. Where can people find you, my good sir?
You can find me on YouTube. Sid's Trainz is my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram under Sydney's Trainz, and then I'm also on the Miniature Models Podcast Discord and various other fairly well-known Discord servers. So you can find me on there under Sid's Trainz as well. Those are the places you can find me.
All right, fantastic. And Matt R., where can folks find you, good sir?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at WC Model Railroad, on Facebook as WC Model Railroad, and guess what? I'm on Instagram. It's WC Model Railroad.
Excellent. And Matt Z., where can folks find you, sir?
You can find me on YouTube under Matt-Trainlover9943, Facebook under the same name, Instagram Matts.hobbies, and like Sid said, on the Miniature Models Discord server and a couple others as well. And Ryan, Eric, Meghan, Cori, Matt, John, all y'all, thanks for the great episode. A lot of fun as always.
Yep.
Definitely. No, it was a real good one. You can find our wonderful host who is absent tonight, but still in our hearts, Johnny. You can find him at Audamus Trainz. That is AUDAMUS Trainz on Instagram, YouTube, and in our wonderful Miniature Models Podcast Discord. And you can find me, John, at RetroMikado on YouTube, RetroMikado96 on Instagram, and in our Discord as well. We're always having a good time hanging out in there, answering questions, and just shooting the breeze about our favorite topic. Oh, what was the thing we like? Trains. That's
No,
Trainz.
Matt, John, it's music. Come on.
I always mess it up every freaking show. God. Guys, thank you all so much for being here. It was a wonderful show discussion, and like I said, I mean, what can we say? It's going to be a great catalog. Can't wait to see what comes out.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks so much, guys. Y'all have a great one. Take care.
Thank you.